Hey, welcome everybody to our PLR Immersion Session here today. Private Label Rights Immersion Session. These are top ways to use done-for-you content. Of course, this is presented to you by Tools for Motivation. That's where you signed up. I'm your speaker today, co-founder of the company, Justin Popovich. I also have our sales manager on the call today, Trevor. Trev, say hello.
Hello, everyone.
This is Trevor's first webinar with us. I think he's pretty excited. You sound excited. Trevor's going to be monitoring the chat for me because I've got a lot to present to you today, and I want to stay focused on it. So I definitely encourage you to ask questions. If you're watching on the recording of this or on the replay back and you have questions as I go through it, you can also jot those down and send them in to our help desk at Tools for Motivation. We're always happy to answer as many as we can. And yeah. So definitely don't be shy. I am just going to hide some Zoom controls, and we're going to get going. So before I get into the heart of the presentation here, I just want to kind of focus on the word immersion here. This webinar was put together with the intention of really diving deep into private label rights content, specifically how to use it, but looking at a number of different ideas that you may not have considered before. I wanted to build the presentation in a way that if you are new to online marketing or just a new entrepreneur in general, and you're probably getting a little bit overwhelmed with stuff, I want you to be able to understand this. But at the same time, I know there's a lot of people that have been with us for years and they buy our content over and over again, or maybe they're annual members or monthly members or whatever, and they have a lot of experience, but they can still stand to learn new things. I've been in business online now for over 10 years. I'm still learning new things all the time. So I want to make this valuable for everybody across the board. So we are going to go quite deep into a number of different topics and cover a wide range of topics as well. So that's why it's called an immersion session. This is, if you were to talk to like a webinar guru or whatever, he would probably tear this presentation apart and say there's way too much content. But I'm not going to worry about that because my goal is to not follow the gurus, is to give you as much information as it possibly can in a useful way that's actually practical so you can try some of this stuff. And I really like immersion sessions personally. I think back to way back when I first started my business. One of my mentors at the time really recommended that I move from PC to Mac. Now you can argue whether or not that's a good idea. I've enjoyed doing it. But one of the first things I did on the Mac was I learned how to use Keynote, which is the application I'm presenting the slide to you in right now. It's very similar to PowerPoint. And I spent, it had to be almost a week. It was at least several business days. And I put all of my other busy work aside and I forced myself to sit down and really immerse in the Keynote instructional manuals and the video tutorials, everything that was available at the time, to learn it. And what happened was, it was hard to do because I had all these other pressing concerns that I wanted to deal with, but I forced myself to do it. And that immersion session, again, whether it was a couple days or a week, I don't remember, it paid me back. I can't even count, probably 1,000-fold. Because I took the time to learn this tool, I've been able to communicate ideas through this tool in a way that's allowed me to create presentations and different products and programs that have allowed me to generate all kinds of revenue for my business, but also just developed a skill that was that's become invaluable to me in my business and just in my life in general. So that's the idea here, is you want to be able to go deep on the topic of using private label rights content, also understanding that because it's immersive, you might need to come back and revisit these topics over and over again. And that's what we're here for. We're standing by to answer your questions both now and in the long run. We're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. So before I get into that, there are, again, new people that maybe have just found Tools for Motivation and they want to know what is private label rights. PLR, you'll hear us talking about all the time in our email broadcasts and in our videos. But private label rights is basically content licensing. This is when somebody else, like our company, will publish a piece of content. It might be an ebook. It could be articles. There's a lot of different stuff. We're going to get into the different variety of content. And you're purchasing a license so that you can download and learn from the material, but then you can also publish it as your own. So you're purchasing a license to actually use that content in your business. And that's kind of the shift for a lot of people. They don't realize, oh, I'm not just learning this stuff, but I can edit it and then repackage and sell it to my list or brand it and give it out to my people, whoever it is that follows me. So it's very, very powerful. There's a lot of Poor quality PLR out there on the market. It's getting a lot better, but historically, I'm talking like 10 plus years ago when this was a brand new concept, there was a lot of junk out there. And unfortunately, what happened for a lot of people was they just associated the word PLR or private label rights with poor quality. And things have changed drastically. There's a lot of really good vendors on the market. I like to consider Tools of Motivation one of those, but I'll let you be the judge of that. There's people that really take a professional approach to creating licensed content so that you can use it in your business as a starting point, as raw materials to create really powerful content. And what you'll see is that PLR is more than just articles, which is what a lot of people think it is. Think of any type of content you publish online. You can find vendors out there who sell a private label rights license to that content. So it could be an audio, like an audio book or a podcast type of material, video material, graphics, presentation decks, mind maps, you name it. It's all in there. And I'm going to give you a quick example of one of our products here, just so you can kind of visualize what it is. And this product actually is, I'm going to be coming back to it over and over again. So if you go to toolsmotivation.com and look at our store, one of the products you'll see here is Emotional Mastery. It's called 2.0 because several years ago we released another one with the same title, completely different topic and take on the different take on the topic, I should say. And this is one of our most full featured products. And I'm not going to go through the entire feature list here, but I just wanted to pull it up and kind of show it to you. So this is a digital product produced by our company, toolsmotivation.com. And the product itself contains an ebook, which is around 6,000 words, and it goes through the concept of emotional mastery. And it talks about different emotions that everybody experiences on a daily basis. It talks about how to deal with it and so on. The book itself comes with pre-made graphics. The book itself is also repurposed into an enhanced book that has visual appeal to it. So it's not just text, it's got nicely laid out images inside of it. There's a workbook that goes with it. So that helps the student not only read and kind of intellectually understand the material, but they can actually do the work in their life by going through the workbook and trying the exercises, documenting what their emotions are and so on. There's an audiobook that's been narrated by our team so that you can listen to these messages in audio format, which a lot of people in the personal development world like to do. They like gaining their information, their knowledge through audio. And again, as I go through all this, keep in mind that this is a private label rights license. So not only are you gaining this content to learn from, you're getting the raw material so you can use it in your business. This becomes an audiobook in your portfolio that you could potentially sell one day or use in your list building and so on. There's lead generation content here, so a short report to help you build your list, an autoresponder series for doing your email marketing, a trainer slide deck. And again, I'm not going to go through this whole product right now because part of today's presentation is actually, we're going to look at this product behind the scenes. Now, Trevor, can you see this okay? I just want to do a check early in the presentation here to make sure it looks good. And you're on mute just in case.
I can see everything, yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, so what I'm showing you here is the product. What I'm showing you is the sales page for the product. What I'm showing you here is the actual zip file of this product behind the scenes. And we're going to kind of go back and forth to match it up so you can see how to use each content piece. But the point of this whole demo right now was just to kind of explain to you what private label rights is. If you're new to it, this is the kind of thing you're going to see. People will produce content in a variety of formats. They'll explain to you what's inside, and then what you can do with it is entirely up to you within the bounds of that license. So let me just go back into the slide mode here. Private label rights products come with a license that tells you what you can and cannot do with that content. We're going to address some of those questions as we go through this, but just keep in mind that when you purchase private label rights, there is an intended set of usages for it. And sometimes, for example, a great example would be that ebook I just showed you called Emotional Mastery. Our company doesn't allow you to take that text and publish it as a blog post. We don't want that material being shared freely because it's designed as premium content. But we do have articles that we allow you to share freely on a blog post. So the license would state the difference between those two things. You just want to make sure when you're using PLR, whether it's from our company or someone else, that you understand the usage terms. Now, in terms of the
Justin, sorry to jump in there, but that actually perfectly lines up with a question we just got from Jerry. Jerry asked, is it acceptable to use PLR as content for Kindle books, or must it be completely rewritten? What's Amazon's policy on this?
Right. So the Amazon's policy at a high level is that you cannot take a PLR book and copy, paste, save as an EPUB or whatever it's called, What you can do is use private label rights books as your outline, as a starting point, and as raw materials to produce something unique. But yeah, absolutely, it would need to be a unique creation if you're going to be publishing on that platform. I do have an example of somebody who's done that. I'll get to that later on in the presentation. Okay, so in terms of the content itself, when I go through this presentation today, but even beyond that, when you start publishing content in your business, from what I've seen, and in my 10 plus years of doing this, every time I look at a piece of content on my hard drive, it falls under one of three categories as far as I'm concerned: premium, lead generation, or branding. Premium content is content designed for you to sell or monetize in some way to generate revenue for your business. Now, it doesn't mean that you're taking the ebook, saving it as a zip file, putting it up for sale on a website and having a buy button associated. Maybe, but not necessarily. It could mean that you're taking the ebook and you're blending it with 4 other ebooks into a 4-part course, and you're selling that course on a course platform like Udemy, right? It doesn't have to be take this file and sell it. It could be part of something larger, and that's one of the things we're going to get into today. But the point is that your content's going to fall into one of these 3 types of categories. So premium is one. Lead generation is another. When I say lead generation, sometimes I'll also use the word list building, but it's basically designed to help you get people to join your subscriber list. And when I say subscriber list, I'm typically talking about your email list when you're doing email marketing and you're sending broadcasts and marketing messages out to an email database. But building your list can also go beyond that. It can talk about your social following and things of that nature. But when I'm talking list today, the context is really your email marketing list. And it's not just about getting people to sign up for the list, but it's also about nurturing relationships with the people that have already signed up. Are they just getting your free stuff and unsubscribing? Or are they actually getting some genuine value and they're trying to stick around to learn more from you, maybe purchase solutions from your company to help them advance in their life, whatever it is they're trying to do? And then there's branding content, and that's the biggest piece as far as I'm concerned. This is the most pieces of content you'll find out there usually fall under the umbrella of branding. Content used to market yourself online. It could also actually bleed to offline, but today we're focusing only on online strategies. And this is just stuff you publish freely. Blog posts, social posts, free reports that you just offer for free with no opt-in. All that kind of stuff. So anything you want to give away freely online, think of that as branding content. I also sometimes use the word marketing content. The point is nobody has to buy anything or go through any hoops to get it. It's just out there, and it's published for people to read freely. Okay, so those are the 3 buckets. Now, when we go through today's session, again, I've just picked one product because it allows us to focus. But you could translate what we're going to talk about today to really any PLR product, and just the examples I'm going to show will vary depending on what is included in that product. So as we go through emotional mastery, keep in mind that each piece of content can be used to help you generate and build premium-based content, lead generation-based content, and or branding and marketing content. And there's going to be scenarios where you're doing one or both, or sometimes all 3 of these. And again, I'm walking through a ton of different examples, so we'll have time to go through all of those and take questions about these. We can get really creative, especially when it comes to premium. When you talk about generating revenue for your business, there's a lot of really interesting things you can do with private label rights. I'm not going to be able to actually show all of them, but I have some interesting links and outbound resources that you can click on after this presentation if you want to dive even deeper than the immersion session today. So, Trevor, before I continue, are we good here? I just want to make sure I'm moving quickly, but maybe not as quickly as I'm about to go. So I just want to make sure everything else is good to go. You're still on mute, by the way, so I can't hear you.
So far, so good.
Okay, great. Okay, so now I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this slide next, but I did. Okay, everybody take a deep breath, because this is what we're covering today, and please don't freak out. Actually get excited, because it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go through all of this. Everything you see on the slide today is something we're going to go through in one way, shape, or form. Some things we're just going to talk about quickly. Others we're going to dive deep into. But the idea is, if you look across the top of my screen, and don't worry, this slide's not going to be up the whole time. And also, you're going to get a copy of this slide. And I'll likely end up even enhancing the slide down the road to make it more useful for you with links and so on. But what we're doing is we're mapping this product. I'm going to kind of toggle back and forth here, so just bear with me because this is a live session. We're going to take the product that I was showing you earlier, Emotional Mastery, which has, in this case, 5 different folders, but typically our products have 4. I'm going to get into the distinctions there in a second. And then we're going to show you what you can do with each one of these folders here. So ignoring that 5th one for now, premium, lead generation, branding, social. If you remember earlier, I talked about 3 types of content: premium, lead generation, and branding. That's how these line up. Premium content for monetizing, lead gen for list building and lead generation, and then these 2, branding and social, for your public branding and marketing. Now, this slide kind of encapsulates all of the different components of this particular product called Emotional Mastery, but it's also a good encapsulation of what you're going to find in a lot of different Tools for Motivation full products. We have 3 different styles of PLR products that we release. Full products are kind of our main items or elements that we release on a bi-weekly basis. It's a full product complete with everything you see, but we also release shorter pieces of content like a tip sheet and a content bundle, which are more designed for blogging and public content. So this one kind of encapsulates every different type of content style that you might be publishing online and how our product lines up to it. What's neat about this slide, though, is that if you're purchasing other private label rights packages from other vendors, or maybe you've downloaded some freebies and trials and you're just trying to figure out where you want to go with everything, is a lot of different vendors publish similar stuff to this. So even if you're not using Tools for Motivation, you'll be able to go through these different topics and get a pretty good feel for what it is you can do with all this different stuff. Now, before I go there, there's one thing I wanted to mention here. In this Emotional Mastery product, you'll notice that we have the 4 sections. So premium content, which is like an ebook, audiobook, workbook, that's stuff you can monetize. We have the lead generation content, which is a lead gen report, some autoresponder emails, and some slide decks. The branding content, which has articles and stuff. Then we have a whole social section, which is mostly graphics. There's this 5th section here that exists in some of our products. Once a month, we take one of our full products, which would be those 4 folders I just showed you, and we add this 5th folder called Enhanced Media. And this is where we do a whole bunch of done-for-you video content. So as an example, this Emotional Mastery product has a 6,000-word ebook. In the Enhanced Media version, the PLR product has also had this video book built. So what it is, it's a video version of the actual ebook itself. So when you read this ebook right here, Emotional Mastery, I'm going to open this up in a second as well. We're going to do some editing to it as we go through. But this ebook has actually been translated for you into a video book here in our multimedia file. So you can see that right here. And it's a multi-part video book, so you can package it up and sell it as a video course, as an example. But that's an important piece because I wanted to pick this product because it did have those video and audio components that you won't always see, but to me, it adds it gives you some really, really nice extra features when it comes to branding online, but also really beefing up your offers. If you're selling an Emotional Mastery ebook on its own, that's one thing. Imagine offering an audiobook and video book bundled with it. It's a higher value offer, so you're able to ask more for it. You can build sales funnels where you use those as upsells. So we can get really creative with it. I'm going to kind of dive into that. But I wanted to point that out because you'll see on the slide that in orange, there's certain pieces here that some of our products will actually have these included. And in other cases, you can build it yourself following our product as a model. So what we're going to do here is walk through every single one of these one by one. So I'm going to start here. Premium content ebook. Let me just grab a quick drink here. The ebook is the main, this is the core component of this product. If people read the Emotional Mastery ebook, they're going to get the most relevant information about how to take control of their emotions. There's 7 specific emotions that get covered in this book. If you were to use this as a content publisher and you're using the PLR book as your starting point, maybe you want to cover more emotions. Maybe the 7 are a good starting point for you, but you want to go deeper and add another 4, 5, 6. That's the beauty of all this, is it's fully customizable. So Within each one of these pieces of content, there's a bunch of different things that you might want to consider doing. So one of them is publishing the ebook as is. So you could literally take the license of this content, you come into the Emotional Mastery product here, and under the premium folder, you'll find the ebook just like it was published on our sales page. Now, we publish it in a couple of formats here. We've got Pages and Doc. So this is Microsoft Word. Pages is for people on a Mac. I'm going to open the Word doc one. That seems to be the most common one. Definitely way more of our audience uses Word doc than Pages. So you would open this up, and with your license, you technically now own this book as your own piece of content that you can now publish on your website, publish as a product for sale, but more importantly, as something that you can edit. So if you want to change the introduction, you can do it. And if you want to add footer links to this, with your website in here, tools for motivation. I'll just put tfm.com, right? You can do that, and it's fully customizable. At the end of the day, all you need to do is dump this out as a PDF. You could even, if you wanted to, use the PDF that we include in here, although I don't usually recommend it. I always recommend you come into the Word doc version of it, read through it, and at least add some branding to the footer. If you like everything else that's been written by our team and you just want to sell this or publish this under your brand, that's cool. If you're going to make some customizations, even better. But now you can just literally publish that as an ebook for sale. And an ebook for sale is nothing more than a PDF. I've made plenty of money online in my days by having a PayPal buy button connected to a PDF, and people would send me, $7, $15, $19, $20, whatever. I send them a PDF, and I make money online doing that. So that could be part of your business model, is straight up selling an ebook as is. But if you want to go further, you could do some additional things with it. So for example, here, I talked earlier about premium content, lead generation content, and branding content. Well, our ebooks, you don't actually have to use them as premium for sale items. That's why I talked earlier about the flexibility. If you look into our license, and I'm not going to go through the whole license today, but this license in here will be found in all of our products. I'm kind of zooming in here. Hopefully you can see that. The license allows you to edit, take apart, sell it as your own. You can bundle it with other things. There's lots of stuff you can do here. It says you cannot publish it as web publishable content. So stuff like free blog posts, I talked about that earlier. You can't take the ebook and make it a blog post, but what you can do is actually give it away as a lead magnet. So if you're building your list, you don't have to sell our ebooks. You can give them away for free as long as it's done so privately. So it could be, hey, put your name and email now, and I'm going to send you my ebook or my free report on emotional mastery. That's cool. That totally works within our license. Or maybe you already have a list of subscribers and you want to send them a gift or just some kind of update on your daily email broadcasts. That's also fair game. As long as you're not publishing it as a blog post or something free, you're good to go. And so a lot of people don't realize that with our ebooks. They're trying to plug this into some kind of sales funnel or only put it up as something for sale. You don't have to do that. It can be part of something else like a lead magnet. Another thing that I see a lot of people like to do, and I highly recommend it, is taking the ebook itself and visually enhancing it. So you'll notice here, if you read through the Emotional Mastery book, it's what I think it says 61 or 6,500 words on how to manage emotions, and it goes through several different examples, right? But it's a straightforward, just plain text read out of box. What you might want to do is visually enhance this by inserting graphics, spicing up the design or the template. Maybe you have a Microsoft Word template, or maybe you're using Google Docs. They include templates, and then you can take all this content and rework it into something that's a little bit more visually appealing. Now, we actually do that here. If you look inside of Tools for Motivation full product, the third folder down here is called Enhanced ebook, and this gives you an example of what it looks like to take a PLR ebook but make it visually appealing. So instead of just having that text printout, which by the way, a lot of people like, which is why we always include it, but some people like this better, which is a bit more of a visually enhanced layout. We've got this header that says Emotional Mastery. We've got a colored footer that matches with page numbers. And then throughout the document, we've added images. In this case, we take our images from Unsplash, which is a website that you can use to grab royalty-free images and use it in your marketing. You can use it really any way you see fit. And we actually curate this. So when you purchase a license from Tools for Motivation, we actually let you know exactly which Unsplash images we used inside of this document. But to me, it's a great example because anytime you purchase a PLR license, again, whether it's from Tools for Motivation or someone else, if that vendor is just giving you, let's say it's a bundle of articles, that's a common thing in the private label rights world. Hey, here's a bunch of articles I've written for you. And then boom, you open them up and they're all in plain text or they're in Word. With a little bit of work or even just training someone on your team or an outsourcer, they could go through the Unsplash website and layer in different images that match the tone and the message inside of this ebook. So we've done this for you in our enhanced ebook. We actually give you the Word doc version of it as well if you want to run with what we've done. But it's also just a good example of what you could do when it comes to visually enhancing your book. Now, I just want to point out as well, those images come from, I have it here somewhere, right here, unsplash.com. I wanted to mention this website because it's a common question that we get. And there's actually a collection here. If you go to, I've got a resource sheet. Let me just view my navigator. So I'm just going to be jumping around here, guys. I want to make this as useful as possible. If you go to tfm.news/unsplash, it's going to take you to this page, which is a collection that Ted has built. So we've used the Unsplash website, but then we've collected we've gone through, there's like millions and millions of different graphics here that you can use royalty free in your creations, in your designs, in your products, in your courses, in your slide decks, whatever. But he's organized them into different topics. So for example, emotional mastery, he actually saved, where is it? Right here. He saved 66 different photos from the Unsplash website into this collection so that you can quickly come in here as a publisher. And if you're using this emotional mastery product from us, or maybe you're writing your own, you're just using Tools for Motivation store as your inspiration, that's cool too. And you're writing about this topic, well, here's a whole bunch of different graphics that might help you communicate that message inside of your works. And that's exactly what we did when we built our enhanced ebook, was we took a Word document and then we just started laying out the graphics within. So that's what I was talking about over here on the slide right here. Where'd we go? I'll find it in 1 second. To visually enhance the ebook, it's just like doing that. I'm going to move on. Visual enhancements are definitely something I recommend you try. You can have a lot of fun with it when you're using the Unsplash website. And Unsplash isn't the only place. There's plenty of other websites where you can get royalty-free images. This came up earlier a little bit, and I wanted to dive into it now as well. You can use PLR ebooks or reports to help you with a book outline. So somebody was asking about this earlier, specifically about Kindle. And that's a platform owned by Amazon. So they are obviously going to have very specific terms of service and usage guidelines before you can publish a book on their platform. Now, again, I don't speak for them. I don't know their terms of service, but I do know at a high level that you can't take somebody else's work, even if it's a PLR product that you own a license to, and just straight up publish that as a Kindle book. But what you can do is come into the product here. So here is the emotional mastery ebook, and you can use this as an outline for your own book. We had one of our customers, longtime customer actually, Connie Reagan Green. Some of you might know her. She's a well-known publisher online. She has tons of books for sale on Amazon and Kindle and all that. She wrote a time management book that I think was an Amazon bestseller actually, that she built using a Tools for Motivation time management book as the outline. Now, I don't know exactly what her method was, but the idea would be something like this. Let's say, for example, this section right here is talking about why do you have emotions? And it goes into, or actually this section here, importance of emotions. So it goes into the fact that emotion explains who you've been, they guide your thoughts, they stir you to action. These are all kind of pretty important things as to why we as humans have emotions. Now, if you want to write about that in your own book, you could start with this. And actually, I would use this PLR book as my working copy of my Kindle book. And let's say, for example, I italicize and then maybe even change the color to red as an author here. Now I know visually, okay, the red italicized stuff came from PLR. Now I need to write my own content. So I'm going to use this to guide the passage in my book about emotions. And the first example here is they're going to explain where I've been. So emotions tell you a great deal about the life events which have formed you. You tend to react to the world according to certain triggers or reminders of past thoughts or experiences. I could totally write this passage right now in my own words, right? So I could just say something like emotions communicate important info, blah, 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 right? Info about whatever. I don't want to do it all now because we're going to go forever if I do that. But I could go through the whole PLR ebook here using it just as an outline, but at the end of the day, have a completely unique book that's been written, but done much more quickly than doing this. Imagine I come into Word and I go, okay, today I'm going to write a book about emotional mastery. I know this topic really, really well. Let's go. I'm caffeinated. I've had, 6 Starbucks. I'm fired up. Let's get started. Okay, emotional mastery. What do I want to talk about today? And then if you're anything like me, I stare at this blank page and I start getting anxious and stressed out, and I end up going on to something else. I don't want to deal with it. I have any ideas. I'm getting blocked, whatever. I'd way rather start right here with existing ideas that I can pull from, or maybe I don't like it. Maybe the author of the PLR book wrote something that's totally untrue and I'm mad. I'm like, that's not true at all. I'm going to write what the truth is. This PLR book can actually guide you to create something completely unique. And it's something that doesn't come up a lot, but because people think of, oh, it's PLR, it's done all the work for me, I just can download it and publish it as is. Well, yeah, you can, but if you're trying to build something unique, like a Kindle book, it's got to be a unique work that represents you, your voice, your unique message to the world. So you got to do some work. But why not make that work experience more fun and pleasurable, and maybe a little bit of an exciting journey, maybe something you can do with a business partner, with a team of people? Well, it's much easier to do when you have something like this to get you started with. So I love that example. It's something that I've seen people do quite well. If anybody is wanting an example of Connie's book, I can find that later. I don't remember the exact title, but I do remember it was on one of our testimonial pages for years.
Now, Justin, sorry to jump in here, but we had a great question from Desi Ann come in. In your opinion, is there an ideal price range for an ebook?
No, not at all. Price is always based on testing. I could never really say, hey, if your book is 7,000 words in length, then that should sell for $19.99. Because what if it's 1,000 words in length, but explains everything I need to know that will take my business from 5 figures to 6? Well, maybe that now ebook's worth $100. So it really just depends on the content plus the context of with which you're selling it. I've had things perform better at higher prices than low. So pricing always comes down to testing. And if anybody tries to tell you the price of what the price something should be, they're probably just guessing, quite honestly. And you really need to know your market as well. Like, for example, I'm into a lot of different fitness stuff. I see people selling fitness programs all the time. The typical range for like an ebook would be like $20-$30. But if there was somebody that I truly admired and I've been following them for years and I've got a ton of value, maybe I've been to one of their courses, and they say they have a new PDF on some strategy they've used for the last year to get X result, and it's $90, I'd probably buy it. Somebody might tell them, no one will ever spend $90 on an ebook, but they don't know that market, right? So it really comes down to testing and the market that you're trying to get in front of. Great question, though. We good to go here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, okay. So I'm going to come back to membership content in a second, because this book outline one makes me think of this idea extraction one. So idea extraction is kind of the same idea, but I like to share it with a different example. So a lot of people don't like PLR. They throw up a huge objection when it comes to buying our stuff. They're like, I love it, but I just don't feel right about publishing your material and saying I wrote it. And I'm like, that's cool, but why not at least take advantage of the work that we've done? And you can acquire a license to this for dirt cheap and still take advantage of it to use it as a tool in your business. And in terms of what was the word I was using here? Idea extraction. In terms of producing unique content, one strategy I've talked about in some of my sales videos and other demos is the idea of a fireside chat. I love this. If you do business with a partner, or even if you don't have a business partner, maybe you're in a group of people and you publish similar content. Like, for example, I'm in a Facebook group with other PLR sellers and we chat and mingle and exchange ideas. that would be somebody I could do this with, is imagine hopping into a PLR book like this. And let's say if you're on this webinar, imagine that you're in the personal development or self-improvement space in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you don't sell success specific books, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you're a fitness coach and you help people gain strength in their lifts. I don't know. You're still helping people improve, right? Well, you could team up with somebody and simply read through maybe one section of this book. Earlier, when Trev, when you and I were going through this kind of as a rehearsal, I talked about this section on fear and how you and I could easily read this section here. I think it's maybe 3 pages where it goes into fear, what it is, how it holds you back, and how to deal with it. You and I could spend 5 minutes reading that. Then we could spend 5 minutes before hitting record on a Zoom call, just kind of brainstorming, okay, what do we want to talk about here? Then we hit record, we turn on our cameras, and we literally just discuss the main sections in this 3-page passage about dealing with fear. Trevor, you'd probably want to talk about examples from your decade plus being in sales. I might want to talk about me running a business, growing the company, scaling the business. I may even talk about webinars. When I first started doing webinars 10 plus years ago, I was like shaking. I could hardly even speak. And now I find them quite easy to do. It's a level of comfort that I've built over time, but I had to face that fear. You and I could literally create a unique piece of content that we could live stream on Facebook or on YouTube, or that we could push out as a pre-recorded little personal branding video that later on helps us with selling down the road. And that could be how you use this ebook. You never sell it at all. It just becomes a piece of idea generation content for you to do your live streams and grow your Facebook audience. So that's just another example that I like to share with people. Membership content is a pretty obvious one. A lot of people come to us saying, I want to create recurring revenue. I want to have some kind of membership platform. I just want to get that customer to join and then pay me on a monthly basis because it's just a great way to create some sustainability in my business. And I couldn't agree more. Having recurring revenue is a huge aspect of our business. It's what allows us to make budget decisions on what we want to invest in and how we can scale our business, because we know we have X amount of revenue coming in every month from monthly and annual members, right? Super, super important. Well, if you're not doing that yet in your business and you want to get there, having content like this at your fingertips, like having a product like this, where you can go in, grab an ebook. Later on, I'm going to get into audiobooks and the video book that we talked about earlier. Now you've got all this content that could be one of your several updates for your members. When they're logging in, they're paying $50 a month to get whatever it is you do. Maybe you do some kind of live call, and then you have a members portal where they can download useful resources and checklists and handouts and all that. Private label rights content can become a huge asset for you to make a super, super valuable membership. And for me, selling memberships, the best way to retain members is just make the membership so over the top valuable that your members they really just don't want to cancel, because the monthly fee just seems so tiny in relation to the value that they're getting. And the best way to do that is to deliver them as much of what it is that you promise in the highest quality that you promise. And then keep enhancing that every month that goes by. Keep improving that offer. Keep getting better at what you do. And again, private label rights, if you have this kind of content at your fingertips, makes membership site development so much easier because you have all these extra utilities available for you.
Now, Justin, Gina just sent in a really good comment I wanted to touch on. She said that she finds that PLR gives her good ideas, but by the time she's done revising it into her own voice and experience, her version is nothing like the original. And I think in a lot of times that's really the point there. Would you like to touch on that a little bit?
That's exactly the point. Yeah. A lot of people earlier, I was mentioning people that they throw up the objection. They never want to buy PLR because it's like, well, I'm getting something that like a bunch of other people own. Well, yes. But you've also acquired that license at about 1/1000th of the cost of what it would cost you to develop it yourself. And then you could do something like Gina's doing, which is is it Gina? Yeah. Creating something completely unique, which to me is the best case scenario. Now you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that what you're publishing completely matches your voice, your brand, and doesn't exist out on the internet at all. Now, even if it did, I wouldn't worry about it that much, but I love the fact that it's completely unique to you and your brand. That will make the best impression on your audience. And anybody, and if you already have an existing subscriber base or set of customers that follows you, they'll know whether you wrote it or not. They'll know if it comes from your voice. Like a huge thing in online marketing is email, sending like email broadcasts to your list. And we promote other companies, and they always offer swipe copy, where they pre-write the email for you so you can just copy and paste it. And I never use it because my audience knows how I write. Now I might use a bullet point or two, but I always write the email because my audience knows my style of writing. And so that to me is a great example of a perfect usage scenario for PLR. And again, I don't know your specific example, but hopefully it saved you a ton of time from creating that final product, right? If you hadn't started with PLR, I'd be super interested to hear what you think the number of hours spent would be compared to using PLR versus not. Super interesting discussion. We could get into it maybe at some point. Hopefully that answers it. I'm happy to come back to that as well. I just want to keep rolling here. Another one is a mini course. I'm actually going to get into the mini course example in a few slides. Let me come back to that. But at a high level, a mini course is just a short, a few day type of course that you can put your new subscribers through to get them accustomed to hearing from you on a regular basis. But you could totally use ebooks and repackage them as mini courses. In some cases, we actually include that in some of our products, which I'll get into. All right. Actually, before I move on here, Trevor, do you think there's any other questions specifically about PLR ebooks? I'm sure there will be, but at a high level here before I move on to audio.
Yeah, not specifically on the ebook, but there was one other question that came in that I'd like to kind of get answered for our friend James there. He mentioned that as a TFM member, when I find a Tools for Motivation product being offered for sale by an affiliate, can I expect to find the same product available to me at no cost in the members area?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good question about how we run our business. I'll touch on it quickly, and then I'll get into more of those questions at the end. But yeah, if you see an affiliate promoting something, then it likely has already been published for members well in advance. So in terms of how that whole workflow goes, we can get into that a bit later. But if you see something out there being promoted, then members would have had access to it already. Absolutely.
And the great thing is, guys, is that we're available. Our phone numbers are published. If you've got an email from me, you have my direct line, you have Justin's line. If you have a question like that going forward, just feel free to reach out. We love chatting with you guys.
Yeah, and the help desk is open too. Melody and Nigel are always keeping a great watch on there, and it's unbelievable how great care they take of customers. It's super impressive. I think most of you, or many of you on the call, have probably had an experience because we do a lot of our bonuses through our help desk. And I see Nigel in there Sunday mornings at like 8 a.m. sending bonuses to people. It's amazing. So yeah, okay, I'm going to move on to audiobooks here, but I'm happy to come back to that as well, just because there's a lot to go through. So, and I'm just going to leave it in this mode. I was in full presentation mode. It just allows me to kind of go back and forth here. So premium content audiobook. Now, if I want to relate that back to this product here, when you purchase Emotional Mastery or any of our full products, we take this ebook here and we narrate it for you into a multi-part audiobook. Now, we do this specifically because of the niche we're in: self-help, personal development, self-improvement, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty much the biggest market for audiobooks, right? People buy their personal development material very often in Audible or in audio-based formats, sometimes even before written. Many of the self-help books that I read, I actually only get the audio version of them. If it's a book I really love, then I'll probably buy both. And having both options available to the self-help consumer is a very, very good idea, because you give yourself a chance to monetize twice. Or you can just be a super awesome vendor and include the audiobook for free and just really over deliver to people. That's entirely up to you. And I'm just going to quickly digress for one quick second, because I forgot about this folder here. All of our products come with these pre-designed graphics. So as I go through, you're going to see, like, for example, here, the audiobook. It comes with the CD case, which is important for when you're communicating what's included in a product or a download. The visuals just make it clear for that person purchasing. So again, if you're selling an audiobook, it helps to have this CD case. Even though it's not a CD, it lets them visualize that it's an audio product for download. Just a quick digression there. So again, the audiobook has been narrated by a professional voiceover actor. We have a team of people that we hire every month, and they kind of go through our ebooks and do that. We actually do it beyond just ebooks. I'm going to get into it further. But one thing that comes up a lot of the time is people will say, I love the audiobook, but it's not in my voice. So how am I supposed to use it? And I always tell the story of my favorite audiobook of all time is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, which is not narrated by David himself. He actually hired somebody who I thought did an amazing job to narrate the book for him. And then they actually went above and beyond that. They kind of did a podcast / narration. But at the end of the day, the book contents itself were not narrated by the author. And that's actually a common scenario in the audio publishing world. So you don't need to be the person on the microphone narrating the book if you're concerned about that. However, if you do want it to be in your voice, or if you're making a huge amount of changes to the ebook here, to the point where the PLR audiobook normally doesn't even match it anymore, then by all means, go ahead and re-record it. You can follow along with our audiobook just sort of as a guideline as to how you might want to pace it, what rough length of it should be. Sometimes I'll listen to the audiobook to hear maybe the way that voice actor has narrated and how I want to change it up. Maybe it's spoken a little too quietly in one section. I'm gonna pep it up or speed it up. So you can use it just as an educational tool as well, or just as a guideline. It's entirely up to you. So you can publish it as is or customize it. You can also use it as a lead magnet, like I mentioned earlier. So you don't have, just because it's in the premium folder here does not mean you have to sell it. If you wanted to build your list and make a really good first impression on your new subscribers, you could ask them to sign up for your list, and I'm going to send you a free copy of my Emotional Mastery ebook and the audio version of it as well. Like, what an awesome lead magnet to get people introduced to your company. They're going to get this really high value piece of content. It's available in multiple formats for them. And they're going to have a great first experience with your business because you're not just giving them some junky report that you whipped up in 5 minutes. It's something that actually has tangible value. You could even, I've seen people do this frequently. You could even have it for sale. You could take this ebook, bundle it with the audiobook, put it up on your store, like at Tools for Motivation here. We have our, where is it? We have our store front. Let me go to that and pop up just a random example here. Let's say replace this with Emotional Mastery in your storefront, and it's $47. And you can show them that. You can say, but if you want, I've got backdoor access to this product for free if you join my subscriber list over here. And you send it to some kind of private page, or maybe you're using some kind of list building tool where they opt in, and you send them this otherwise paid product for free. Again, creating that contrast in their mind that, oh my gosh, I signed up for this person's list and I got to actually download a product that they normally charge for. I've used this strategy many different times at Tools for Motivation. We've actually got thousands of people to subscribe to our list using it, and it creates a great first impression. Some of those people are still subscribed today, and I did some of that 5, 6, 7 years ago. Stuff works really well. So keep that in mind when it comes to using private label rights content. Maybe it's not your key piece that you want to go to. Like maybe this ebook audio book just becomes like a secondary piece of content to help you sell something larger. Like maybe you have your own Emotional Mastery masterclass that takes a month to go through, and then this can just be your lead into it, right? So that's something else to consider. This third one here is an interesting one, mixing with other audio. So this is another way I kind of handle that objection, not even really objection, but just the question about, hey, the audio is not in my voice. What can I do about that? Well, I've had some other examples, maybe you've been on the trainings for it, where what you can do is use the PLR and bring it into a tool like GarageBand, or if you're on a PC, there's a free tool called Audacity. So you could, now this, what it lets you do is I can record my voice. So let me show you. And hello, 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 this is Justin. Let me just play that back. I don't think you can hear it, but that's fine. I think I messed up the output of it. Anyway, so I would have my own voice recording here. Then I could bring in PLR. So let me pop in chapter 1 of Emotional Mastery. Maybe it's just like an introduction to what emotions are. I can't remember exactly what it says in that book, how they serve us, how they can get in our way, how they can hold us back in life, right? So this is the intro to it. And what you could do to publish your own unique or audiobook is use components from the PLR and then just add your own little intro to it. So I would get on the mic here and I would record myself saying, hey, this is Justin Popovich, and today I'd like to welcome you to Emotional Mastery. Here's what we're going to be covering in the next several hours. And then I cut out and I blend into the PLR. Now, for some reason, it's not allowing me to play the output from it. I think it might have something to do with Zoom and all the different controls. But you could hear it here.
Emotional mastery. Take back control from the 7 emotions that are holding you hostage.
Okay, so that's just the intro, but you get the idea. I could start building a completely unique audio output here. Now, how I use that, it could be some kind of audio lesson that I publish in my members area. It could be a unique audio book. It could be a multi-part audio, like maybe like multi-part, like say 5 audio segment lesson that I drip out in an email autoresponder. But it becomes a combination of me on the mic here, a piece of PLR in the middle, me back on the mic over here, and then I add another piece of PLR right after that segment, and I stitch it all together to form a completely unique piece of audio, just like I do with text, right? It's very similar to going into a PLR audio or PLR ebook and just writing your own little sections here. Section by Justin, right? This is unique now because I've added my own flavor to it. We have a lesson here on, I can't remember if I have it open or not. I don't think I do. We have a lesson somewhere on the Tools for Motivation website where I walk through exactly how to build your own custom audiobooks. If you go to training and then search our free training section, you can just search the word audiobook and you'll see a lesson of, where I teach you exactly how to do this method of merging your voice with PLR back and forth to create a unique piece of content. Super powerful. I don't really see enough people doing it. If you're into like podcasting and stuff like that, this can be a very, very powerful method for speeding the process up. Okay, quick drink break here. All right. Okay, we talked about membership content already. I've already mentioned quickly how this could be like an upsell. How we do that, I'll just kind of show it quickly here. Do I have one? Yeah. So you could have an offer. The way we do it at Tools for Motivation is one way. There's probably half a dozen or several dozen ways of doing this. This is an example of a free offer. This could be a paid offer as well. It doesn't really matter. This could also be a lead capture page. But the idea being is, let's say, for example, pretend this is a sales page for me selling you the Emotional Mastery ebook for $15. Okay, so you come down here, you're like, oh yeah, this thing looks good, I'm gonna grab it. Well, I could then quickly bump you to an upsell, which comes up here saying, hey, thanks for your interest. Would you also like the audiobook? Now this is showing you a different funnel, but this is the way our funnels work. And that's where I could pop in the audiobook here for just $7 more, add the audio version of this to make it easy to learn this material on the go or when you go to the gym and all this different stuff. Kindle does it when you buy a Kindle book, you can add the Audible version or whatever. I forget exactly how Amazon does it. I'm sure you guys have seen it. This is another way of using that kind of content. It allows you to generate more revenue. If you're doing this, if you're using these for premium content, this might help you just beef up those revenues as well. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it for audiobooks. Are we good to move on here, Trevor?
Right before we move on, Winston did send in a great question I want to touch on. He said, if you make changes on the ebook but do not change in the audiobook, what will happen to your credibility if someone is following along with the ebook while listening to the audiobook?
Yeah, that could definitely cause a problem unless you position it the right way. So if that were the scenario, I'd say you have two options. One would be publish the ebook, customize, and then the audiobook directly from PLR with some kind of disclaimer / statement saying the audiobook is a shortened version or a summarized version of the key lessons from the ebook, or just go ahead and re-record it in your own voice. Again, using our audiobook as just sort of a guideline. It would have to be one of those two things. I don't think it would hurt your credibility as long as you're upfront with your audience. And in some cases, I've even told people when I've used PLR. So, I mean, you kind of have to, I'll get into that a bit later, but you could just say, hey, the audio version was available before I made these enhancements, but if you want to learn similar lessons, go ahead. I think just be upfront about it. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to pretend like it doesn't exist. If there is a difference, state it, and then you don't really have anything to worry about at that point. People like honesty, and there's probably a good reason for it. Maybe just giving them a variety, right? The two versions don't match, but that's okay. You're still going to learn about emotional mastery.
And even if you do have to re-record the entire audio, you're still saving an absolute ton of time by doing that.
Yeah. I think it really just, if you're asking for me for my personal advice, I would re-record it just so it does match. But if I was in a rush, I would probably position it that way and just make sure I'm super clear. And you've probably seen that if you've been on our list for a while. I always make a point of, if there's anything that is a little bit different or off or anything that's unclear, I try to state it up front before you buy, so that there's no guessing. Like when I sell this product, this hasn't even, where is it? The Emotional Mastery one. We haven't even launched this. It's available for our members. We haven't even launched it yet. When I do, I'll explain this on the sales page. I'll say, hey, here's everything you get. And I'll also show this. I'll walk through this entire file up front before you buy, so you know exactly what you're getting. And people appreciate the just the straightforwardness of that. So if you do that in your marketing, I don't really think you can go wrong.
Yeah, Vicky Peel made a really good point. She said that Connie Reagan Green is her mentor, and when she uses PLR, she says presented by, to denote it is not her original material.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Love that. That's a great idea. Very cool. I'll quickly talk about that other example. So there's times where I've told people that what I'm using, or what this section of my work is right now, comes from PLR. And that is from the original release of a course I did several years ago called Prod Create, where I taught people how to build digital products online. And obviously, if you're learning how to create a digital product and put it up for sale and write the sales copy and connect your buy buttons and do all that stuff, there's a million things you got to learn. One of the things is writing sales copy, and it's just not something that I consider my forte. My way of selling things is just to tell you what I built, see if you like it. But I wanted my students to be able to learn copywriting principles. So I didn't want to leave that out of my course. So what I did was I went and found an ebook that was written by a copywriting expert, and he sold PLR licensing to it. And so I bought it and I included it in my course, and I told my students, this section is an outline and a little book and a guide on how to write sales copy. I did not create this lesson in the course. I licensed it from an expert copywriter. So but I vetted it, and it looks really good, and it definitely matches up with principles that I believe in for copywriting. So definitely use this if you need help with your copywriting. So I straight up told them that I licensed the content. But for them, my students liked it because they're like, oh, he's spending money to make sure that all the modules in his course are as valuable as possible for me, the student. So you can be upfront when you're using PLR if your intention is to increase or to improve the experience of your customer or your client, and it just happens that you're using PLR and you went and purchase a license to do that to make their life easier. That's great. So just be honest about it if you need to, if it serves your purposes. And if not, do what Connie does and just say presented by. You can kind of leave it at a high level. Okay, I'm going to move on. The next thing is the workbook. This has been a relatively new feature, probably the last year or two we've included these. We never used to, but we realized over time that it's vitally important. So we innovated, like you should when you run a business that you want to scale. So what we did here with workbooks is we take the main ebook and then we create a handout that a student can go through and basically implement the lessons from Emotional Mastery. So in this case, it's a little workbook where they can document their own life experiences. In this example, anger is one of the emotions we discuss in the book. Well, what made you angry? Are there any other emotions you're feeling? Why did it make you so angry? Write that all down, kind of get it out of your head and your heart and get it onto paper so you can evaluate it. This can be a super valuable piece of content for you as a content publisher, because now you're going from information to transformation. You're actually helping that reader or that client or customer actually digest the information and make changes in their life based on what you're trying to teach them. So when it comes to using that workbook, you could package it with the ebook and the audiobook and sell it. Or do what I was talking about earlier, where you have it for sale. Let's say it's $47 on your store, and you show them on the sales page, hey, you're going to get this book, you're going to get the audio, you're going to get this workbook that will help you implement. And then you have a lead magnet page where they can get it for free when they sign up for your list, right? So the workbook could be tied into that. You can also do this use it as a handout if you're doing coaching or different types of consulting. So I've seen more and more people hitting up our help desk looking for ideas or strategies or ways to use PLR to grow their coaching practice, or in many cases, start their coaching practice. They're just getting a coaching business off the ground. They have a specific topic or area that they're a total expert in, but they just haven't figured out how to put that in front of coaching clients and get them to work through a program. Well, having something like this would be super useful for one of your coaching calls. Let's say it's a 4-week coaching course, and you're going to go through handling emotional mastery or becoming an emotional mastery wizard. Well, you could go through certain sections of this handout on each coaching call. So, week 1, I want you to read this part of the book, chapter 1 of this book about anger. And then when you get onto the call, it's a half-an-hour call. We're going to go through your answers for the section on anger. And we're going to really dive deep and talk about what it is that's causing you the anger in your life, how it's impacting you, what are the implications of not fixing it, and how you can move forward with it, right? That becomes a really valuable resource for you as a coach because it gives you things to talk about rather than just having to develop the coaching program from scratch. Having sheets like this is super useful. So I kind of put both there because sometimes if you're doing, let's say, if you're doing consulting and you're going into corporations and doing presentations, maybe it's just like a sheet that you hand out at the end that they can fill in, that the student can fill in just as a resource. Whereas with coaching, this can actually be something you work through together. You might also want to do something like a video presentation. I've done this on a few of our products where we go through the workbook itself. And instead of just having the student read it, like here's the information, it's super useful and it allows the student to kind of contemplate their life. But I could actually turn this into a video where I pose the question. I have a little intro and I pose a question, what made you angry? And then I would actually do this in a slide deck. So I could actually start up a new presentation here and I could create a video presentation about emotional mastery starting with anger. So I could have this on my slide. I'm really just doing this on the fly. It may not format well. And I could go into presentation mode and say something like, anger, okay, I definitely would want to modify the slide, but anger is a destructive emotion. We all experience it, but it's one of the most important ones to tackle. How are you going to do that today? What I'd like you to do as part of our course here on emotional mastery is write down, take an incident that made you blow up and think about it. What made you angry? And I would actually put this into my slide deck so that as I'm going through the presentation, I'm reading this, or I'm kind of narrating it just like I'm doing to you right now in this webinar. The only difference is I'm recording it using some kind of video recording tool like ScreenFlow or Camtasia. And I'm just moving the elements out of the workbook and into a slide deck so that the student actually has a video of me walking them through how to complete the workbook. If you're a coach or a speaker, or even if you're like a consultant where your personal brand is super important and having your prospective buyers or your existing clients hear your voice on a regular basis is important to growing your business and your brand, then doing a video version of the workbook would be a super useful thing for you to do and to invest your time into. Now you can get it done really quickly because the workbook itself is written and it comes to you with a PLR license. You're able to do anything you want here in terms of customizing it. But creating that video presentation could be as simple as this here. Now, again, you're not going to use these slides the way I've laid them out here. It looks very basic. But with a little bit of spicing up here, maybe adding in an image from Unsplash, you could have a really cool video presentation done in a very short period of time. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that when you do personal branding like this presentation style of workbook I'm talking about, you can pre-qualify people on your programs so much more easily. When I first started selling coaching, like 10 plus years ago, I had like a success coaching program you could sign up for. And people would book like a strategy call, like a free call to decide if they wanted to do coaching with me. And almost every call I got on, the people would say, I feel like I know you already from watching your videos. Now, whether it was a video of me speaking into the camera or doing something like this, where I'm teaching, like even what I'm doing today with you on a webinar, where I'm just teaching something like this, they've already heard my voice. They hear my style of how I talk to, how I speak, how I coach. And so when I got on that call, it was way easier to close those coaching deals because I had already kind of built that reputation, that know, like, and trust factor in their mind by creating that kind of video content. You could do it with a workbook, but you could do this with any content I'm showing you today. Okay. I want to get into this mini course example. Just before I do that, Trevor, are we good here in terms of just any open loops there from the questions that had come in?
We're good right now.
We're good? Okay, great.
And guys, what I'll do as well is I'll a couple times I'll drop my email into this chat as well. So if we did miss you, because the chat is moving pretty quickly, you can just reach out to me after as well.
All right. I just need some other, like, in terms of the actual, I need some feedback here. I'm going to go into the chat. Like, is this good? Are people getting value from this? Am I moving too slow, too fast? We're an hour in here. I just want to make sure before I do another hour that this is good. Okay, great. I'm seeing like people saying helpful with like more than one exclamation point. All right, we're ready to go. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. It's
and Justin, I'm not sure if you see the participants, but we've held pretty steady around that between 82 and 86 mark.
Okay,
so
great.
People are engaged. This is going really well.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that feedback, everybody, and the questions that are coming in. For any of you that run webinars or plan to, it's always an interesting experience just staring at slides and video controls, not really knowing if people are listening or liking it or hating it or whatever. So this is super, super helpful. Really appreciate that. I'm going to hide my controls and get back into it because I got a lot more to go. So here we go. All right. So the example I wanted to cover next is the mini course example. Now, I'm going to point out in advance here that you can go to Tools Motivation. Let me just make sure. I think I have a resource slide for this. I'm going to say it in advance. I didn't put it here, but it does exist. It's I think it's tfm.news. I'm going to type it into the slide here. tfm.news/5day. And that will take you to a much more in-depth look at what I'm about to show you, which is taking our ebooks/workbooks and moving them into a 5-day mini course with the, oh, I had it right here. Woohoo, great. With the concept being, and if you've learned this before from me, I apologize, I'm gonna go through it quick again for people that haven't heard it. Taking an ebook and instead of selling it or packaging it as a full 6,000 word PDF, we're gonna break it into 5 mini lessons / mini course examples for your subscribers. And the difference being, when you sign up for someone's list and they just dump a whole bunch of information on your lap and expect you to digest it and learn from it, that's one thing, but it's not always useful for the customer, right? If I just say, where's my emotional mastery guide? I say, sign up for my emotional mastery ebook and I'm gonna send it to you today. And then they open this up and it's like, oh my gosh, like look at all this stuff I gotta learn here. I gotta learn how to deal with anger, fear, shame, anxiety. There's all this different stuff here. This is probably more of a 7-day course, but you get the idea. That's a lot to take on in one day. If I really want to help you transform your life, if I really want to be that guiding light for you to take control of your emotions and have you see me as that coach or that leader to get you out of maybe a tough spot that you're dealing with in your life right now, I'll probably better serve you by taking bits of this content and moving them into more of a model like this right here, where it's a segment of the content on day 1, a segment of the content on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Now I call it a 5-day course. For this particular product, it would probably be a 7-day course, so you could just focus on one emotion per day. But what happens is quite interesting behind the scenes. You create an opportunity to engage with your new subscribers more frequently and set up the expectation that they're going to be hearing from you on a regular basis. Now, what I'm recommending here is not just about sending things out, like sending a 5-day course or 7-day course out once, but it's getting in the habit of connecting with your audience through email marketing on a daily basis. A lot of people don't like that idea. They don't want to mail their list every single day. But people ask me for advice on running a business. There's a lot of people that come to us as newbies, and I want to give you advice that has worked for me. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that emailing frequently, daily most often, or at least 5 days a week, will generate more revenue than mailing 1 or 2 days a week, or even less. In fact, you'll find more than, it's going to scale way more than just the number of days. So for example, if you mail once a week and you're making $100 a week, and then you start mailing 7 days a week, you're not going to make $700 a week. It's going to go up a lot more than that. It'll probably be a magnitude of 5 or 10x. Not only have I seen this in my business, but I've talked to hundreds of other entrepreneurs that nod their head and agree. And you have to, it's going to be up to you and your gut and your style and your philosophies on how you want to run your business, whether or not you do this. But I'm going to recommend that you use this to get in the habit of mailing daily. It trains your subscriber to hear from you daily, to open your emails, but you're also able to share more powerfully, right? If they're going to learn emotional mastery, it's going to take 5 to 7 days. They're not going to be able to do it in one giant brain dump. So this is a more valuable way of delivering it, but it goes even further than that. I'm going to just, if you draw your attention to the right side of my page here, The left side will talk about how doing it, but this is why I do it. There's a higher perceived value when you have a 5-day course over an ebook. It's just how it is. If people opt into your list for a 6,000 word ebook, looks great. It's a lot of information. You normally charge for it. That's awesome. But if it's a course, they're just more likely to go through it. It's a more effective form of delivery, like I've already talked about. They're more likely to try the exercises if there's just one thing they have to do today. If you give them 17 things to do, they're going to maybe try the first one, get fed up, and then close it. Give them one thing to do, and then give them the next thing to do tomorrow. It allows them to learn at a more reasonable pace. They've got a lot of other things going on in their life. And this doesn't just apply for emotional mastery. You could be selling calisthenics products on how to do pull-ups, how to go from not being able to lift your own body weight to doing muscle ups. I don't know. They need to learn this information slowly in small digestible chunks. That's how learning is actually done. Things happen slowly, so enable them to do that way. A 5-day course is a valuable piece of content that you can pre-sell, right? So if you have a much larger package, like a coaching program that you want to get people to enroll in, and maybe it's a few $1,000s, you can use a 5-day mini course, especially if you do some of these branding tips that I'm talking to you about today with your video and getting your voice on some of these pieces of content you're putting out. Then this 5-day course can help you pre-sell that. And then my favorite one is this last one. You're going to get 5 engagements instead of 1. So instead of sending them a 6,000 word report, you're sending them 5 1,000 word emails where they're actually getting some very specific things, pieces of advice for them to follow that day. So I really love this example of repurposing a PLR product into, whether it's a workbook or the ebook or some kind of combination, but repurposing it into a 5-day course for that stick factor for your new subscribers. Or you could even do this as something that you sell as well. I would do it on the low end so that you get people buying from you. And then those are very likely to be repeat customers. If they go through the course and they get value, they're probably going to come back and spend some more money with you. I talked earlier about some business advice at a general level with regards to emailing your list every day. Another huge piece of advice I want to give you is that repeat customers are going to eventually become a huge, huge percentage of your company revenue as you grow your business. Earn that trust with your customers the first time, continue to deliver value, improve your offerings, show that you're committed to getting better, and those people will still stick with you and buy lots and lots of your future offerings. So a mini course is a great way of not only getting the leads, but cultivating those relationships and really getting people to stick with you for the long run. All right, quick drink break here. And then we're going to move now. Let me actually kind of bring this back here. So this was that giant slide. We've now covered the first column and we're over an hour in. So I'm going to try to move a bit faster. We're going to cover lead gen definitely more quickly here as well. But you can see how we were going through a full product at Tools for Motivation. Hopefully you're also seeing how this can line up and match with some of the other PLR that you might own. Again, this should be able to apply to any private label rights content that you earn. My goal here today is to help you use any content, not just sell you on my stuff. If I can help you with that, then I know you'll probably stick with us. So here, let's go into the lead gen to show you where it lines up here. On this guy, it's this segment of the product here. So we've got a lead gen report. This is a short report. It's 1,500 words that warms people up to the idea of emotional mastery. The report itself is called Emotional Management. It's just a little quick report that gets people kind of thinking about emotional mastery, the different emotions they may experience, how not managing your emotions can harm you, and so on. It also includes a pre-written email series here, 10 different emails that you can use in your marketing. And there's also a slide deck where we've extracted some of the lessons there. So in terms of using that lead magnet report, it's just a simple 1,500 word report here. Let me actually open the whole thing so you can see it. You would have it in Word doc format, obviously, if you wanted to change anything up here, if you wanted to add to it or remove from it. Earlier, I talked about dragging and dropping different graphics from Unsplash. You could totally do that with a report like this. How you could use it beyond that? Well, it could be a lead magnet. It could be a subscriber gift. Remember, once people join your list, you want to keep giving value, over delivering, so to speak. So if they've been on your list for a while, maybe you send them this as a nice little free report. It could be attached right into the email. You could send them to your website where they're downloading it. One model, oh, I don't have it open. Darn, I'm gonna just kind of talk about it. So one model you folks may have seen if you're on our list is we'll sometimes take a product. Let's say we have a product for sale. Here's one called A Love Affair with Life, Exploring Your Passions. And then I'll take the sales page for this product and grab all this text and I'll put it on its own page where it's not in the store, but it's on a hidden page where we have a freebie and I'd have a free offer. So in this case, let's say it's a product you're selling about emotional mastery. Maybe it's a coaching course. And you put this free report, where'd it go? This guy right here. You put this free report as a PDF download at the top of a page like this. And then below it, you could say, this is a report from my emotional mastery masterclass where I cover X, Y, Z. And below that, there could be a video or a sales page or an order form for the thing that they can actually buy. So you're still delivering value to the list because you're mailing your list just a free gift. Hey, I really appreciate you being a subscriber. Head over here to download my free report about emotional management. I think you'll find it super interesting. And I'd love to hear back from you. Just reply to this email. Let me know what you thought about, about the report. Or if there's a specific section that resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. But then what it does is it subtly promotes your actual offer because you're hosting that free thing on a page. Again, I don't have it open. Hopefully you guys have seen it. We do this with our freebies every week where I have like a freebie at the top of the page and then something for sale below it. And we get quite a few sales because people appreciate the freebie and then they want to go further with the topic. So we give them the ability to do it and we actually put that item on sale. So it might be this product, it might be a free download about passions, and then they can get the product below it for maybe like half price or something like that instead of paying the full price for it. So it's a cool little marketing method, but it's also a great way of just delivering free value. And if they don't want to spend any money today, that's cool too, but they're still getting value from being on your list. Another thing is using as a prerequisite for training. So a lot of you out there are either existing trainers, maybe you have video courses already published, maybe you do live trainings. Like this is what I'm doing right now is huge. People are selling live trainings, delivering them on Zoom, just in Zoom meetings or on Zoom webinars and making money. That's their business. They're literally just selling a training that they deliver once or twice a week. But they want students to come into these sessions kind of, ready to go. I attended a really super expensive training session years ago, a couple years back by Jason Horning. He's a Facebook advertising expert and we actually went to his house to do it. He taught us all kinds of different advertising methods that he uses. But he gave us all kinds of prerequisites to read because when he started that training, he was diving deep into some very deep topics that if you hadn't done the prerequisites, you're going to fall behind. And so you can use PLR, like a report like this could be a great little handout. Maybe you send 3 or 4 of these if you're doing an emotional mastery masterclass. You send this report out maybe along with some other pieces of this PLR package as pre-reading before they show up for your session. And that's something I don't see a lot of people doing, but can come in super handy for those of you that are either doing training right now, or if you're getting into training and you have a launch coming up, you could have 4, 5, 6 different prerequisite downloads that you send out to your list to get them excited for when the training starts, or to get them excited about enrolling in the course. And it can become a pre-sales tool for you as well. Another thing is merging with other content. So I like these mini reports because they kind of cut to the chase. They get right to the heart of the matter and get people interested in hopefully reading that full ebook, which is in the premium folder I talked about. Again, this is just a short report about being kind of managing your emotions and having awareness about it. So you could do something like, if you wanted to merge content, let's say, I actually have an example I wanted to show here. So let's say you want to create a new document about emotional awareness. And you could just, if you don't have Microsoft Word, just use Google Docs. Like everybody has access to this. And let's do it here on the fly. Let's grab, this is a kind of a techie template here, but why not? And we're gonna do, let's just do an emotional mastery product here on the fly. So I'm gonna get rid of this section here. We're gonna call it emotional mastery. And then we want to have a section on emotional awareness. right? And I'm going to paste in. Now, I don't know how well this is going to paste coming from a PDF. Let's try it here. Paste that in. Ooh, it made it really big. So let me just bear with me, guys, because this is just a cool example, and it just shows you how you could use. It's not coming in. Have patience. I'm going to do this with Word. I want to do this. This is a really good example. So let's open this in document format, and then I want to really dive into this because Google Docs is an underused tool. If you haven't used it yet, you can build some really cool stuff very quickly here. Let's grab that same section from the from the Word doc, emotional awareness, and I have a feeling it's going to paste in better if I do it this way. Kind of. Let me just fix the. There we go. All right, now this image clearly doesn't match with emotional mastery. So what we might want to do, and then this kind of blends an example from earlier, is might want to go over here to the Tools for Motivation Emotional Mastery Unsplash collection, and let's grab one here. Now I'm a male writing it, so this is a picture that kind of represents me. You'd want to maybe one that represents you if it's coming from you as a personal brand. And I could pop that image in here. I'm just doing a copy and paste here. Come on, you paste in. I want my example to work. Oh, there it goes. And delete that guy out. All right, so we have emotional mastery, of a little emotional awareness intro here. And then I might want to blend it with some other content as well. And that's where I was going with right here, is merge with other content. So maybe I've got a blog post here that I wrote years ago about directing your thoughts to what you want. And it talked about emotional management. It talked about kind of a traumatic incident in my life. I wouldn't maybe grab the whole blog post, but I might talk about maybe a little lesson here. Like the idea is that you spend time every morning. I would have to really extract it, but just humor me, like that. Pretend this actually blends well with this. I would go a little bit deeper here, but I would then merge the content here. So personal example, and I would tell or personal story. And then I would actually paste in the story from my blog post. So I'm taking a piece of PLR content here, right? This is a lead generation report, and I'm pasting it into a Google Doc. I'm grabbing an Unsplash image to make it look nice from one resource, and then I'm blending it with a blog post that I've already written years ago that enhances this message. Now, again, this will be gibberish. It won't make any sense, but hopefully you get the concept here. Is very quickly you can creatively mix and merge PLR content, stuff you've already written, ideas that you want to come up with right now. Like maybe now I've taken a piece of PLR, I've taken a piece of a blog post, and now that's completely made me think about another story that happened to me last week. And I can write the story right now because I've never actually told that story before in written content. I could go ahead and type that out, or maybe I even just narrate it with a microphone and insert a link here to SoundCloud. And SoundCloud is an audio sharing website very similar to YouTube, where you can upload MP3 files. And you can see how quite quickly I can build a super dynamic, really high value report. Or maybe this is just a free article that I'm publishing or a blog post for my readers, where I'm making it, it's going to be 100% unique because I'm mixing and merging it with other things. Now that's an example of using a lead gen report, but everything I just showed you, you could do it with a PLR article, you could do it with a PLR ebook. Maybe somebody else has sold you PLR checklists. I know those are pretty popular nowadays. You could do it with that. It just hopefully shows you the power of blending, mixing, matching, and merging to create unique content at the end of the day. There's also this example here of creating an audiobook. When there's a short report like this, where it's only 1,500 words, and you are a business owner who is doing personal branding, like your name is on the marketing, or people are buying your expertise because you've done something in your life that you've personally achieved and you're sharing that story, then I would recommend, as soon as you purchase this PLR product, make any text changes you want and record it into audio so that you have a branded piece of content. Maybe you also record it into video as well. Like turn on your camera and video yourself reading it if you have to do that. Or maybe just take a video of yourself reading the headlines and speaking on each topic off the top of your head so that you have some video content. I have it in orange here because in our PLR products, what you'll find is certain products like emotional mastery, I talked about this earlier, we've added an enhanced multimedia section. We don't do this for all of our products, but we do it once a month, where we've taken all of those, we've taken the content from the lead generation report and we've recorded it for you into an audiobook right here. So you can see that it has the lead gen CD case, and then it has the MP3 file.
Emotional management.
Okay, and now you've got an audio piece of content pre-recorded for you if you don't want to record it yourself. I just wanted to point that out because, again, some of our packages do include it and saves you the time. All right, I'm going to move on now to the email series, but Trevor, do I need to expand on anything there before I go further?
All good. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, we're going to keep going. And whew, all right, this is a big one. So lead gen content email series. The email series is a super simple piece of content. Let me open it up here. We call it AR series, just short form autoresponder, if you haven't heard of that. A common autoresponder would be something like ActiveCampaign, Aweber, MailChimp, Drip. If you're using Infusionsoft, it's built in. There's lots of GetResponse. There's different ones out there. We use ActiveCampaign at Tools for Motivation. And what it is with these, let me zoom in a bit more here, is 10 pre-written email messages where we give you a subject line and then we give you some copy that you can just basically paste into your autoresponder as a done-for-you message to send to your email subscribers. Now, again, if you think about my earlier advice, I talk about how when I get swipe copy, I don't use it. I maybe use it for inspiration, but I always write my emails to my list. It's up to you how much or little of this you want to use. And again, because it's PLR, you're not limited to just using it in your email marketing. This can become content in a variety of other formats. But if you were to use this straight out of box as is, you could come into your autoresponder system. So this is ActiveCampaign. This is the system we use to send email broadcasts out to our list on a daily basis. It has templates. I have a bunch, but I'm just going to pick a really, really simple one here. So I might, what's the subject line on this one? Tune in, tune out. All right, so we put that in and we say continue, and then we formulate our email broadcast that's going to our list. So what I'm going to do is grab the PLR content. I'm going to get the whole thing. This is designed as email number one for people that subscribe to your list. Out of box, what we're saying is offer the lead gen report here as a lead magnet, and then once they sign up, send them these 10 emails. You definitely don't have to use it that way, but if you were, this is kind of the flow you would follow. And then this is just a really basic template. This is actually not even the one I use, but this is how I start putting together an email marketing broadcast for my list. So I might, I'll delete this part. I'll paste in what comes from PLR. Obviously, I would need to make this a lot bigger. And your style of email marketing will change. I like to make my text quite large so that it formats well for all readers. And I space the text out quite a bit, like so. I'm just showing you really basic stuff here. Where to go? This guy 150. And then I sometimes even bold, like I would put that on its own line. I might even bold that and so on. I have no idea what's going on, but there is some giant crashing noise outside my house. If my line suddenly drops, something very chaotic happened. I don't know. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so and then you could just send that out to your list, or what I would do, I would probably come in here and add some things. I would probably change up the spacing. But now you've got an email broadcast ready to go. It doesn't come with any marketing or outbound links, right? We just give you the copy in the PLR. Now, the point of an email marketing broadcast usually is to get the subscriber to click on something, either something to buy or maybe to download for free to increase your engagement and your loyalty with that customer or prospect. We do a lot of freebies at Tools for Motivation. So if you're on our list, maybe you're clicking through to a freebie page and you're getting a free download. It's our way of showing appreciation for our customers, those kind of things. So you would obviously want to put some kind of call to action in here, whatever it is you're trying to do. Out of box, the PLR is designed to help you sell it. So, want to learn more? Check out our emotional mastery program or whatever, right? And I could link to that. I would link it. I would insert a link here to the sales page for it. Now, in my case, it's this product. In your case, maybe it's the combo of you're just taking the book and the audiobook and the workbook, and you're selling that for $25 on your website. So you would link to your order page for that. And that's kind of the out-of-box usage model for that for that lead magnet. Now, the other thing is you don't have to use it for that. And we have many people that they do their own email marketing. They don't need Tools for Motivation content for email marketing, but they can still make use of this document here. It's a Word doc with 10 different pages, each one a subject geared around emotional mastery. So it's super useful content. How else can it be used? I mean, you've already purchased a license to it, assuming you are an owner of this PLR package. How can you use all of these messages here? So you could create quick social posts. If I want to create engagement, we've got a Facebook fan page for Tools for Motivation. We're trying to build it up right now, actually. It doesn't have a ton of engagement. It's going to be something we work on over the next several years. If we want to go from, right now we're averaging 1 post a day, maybe we want to start doing 2, 3, 4 posts a day and see which ones perform better to see what kind of content works for us. Then I could come into the PLR product and grab either some or all of this text and maybe grab a graphic from Unsplash to have my Facebook post for the morning or for this segment of work. If I'm updating the Facebook post or page 5 times a day, then I might need to use several of these to complete that task. But that's a really easy way for me to get my social marketing done for the day. Another thing is short blog posts. With blogging, some of your blog posts will be long, others will be short. So over here, where did it go? When I was showing you this blog post earlier, this is an old blog that I used to run. I don't really keep it up to date anymore. It was called Ignite Your Essence, where I just blogged about personal development topics. And so if you go to my homepage here, you can see I've got a bunch of different blog posts. Some are really short, where I literally just had I don't know what this one is. This one's medium length, but some were long, like here, right? I think it's this guy. No, it's not. This one here. This is like a super long blog post where I've got images, I've got section 1, I've got an audio segment here where I explain even further about what I was talking about here. And we go into section 2, and the blog post itself could almost be a product or a course. It's super in depth. And with blogging, you want to try to mix and match. You want to cover all different styles of content to capture different readers. And obviously, the more blog posts you have, the more chances you have of being indexed in Google for different keywords, right? So this blog post talks about overcoming challenges and different things like in getting out of your comfort zone, which are great keywords in the self-help space. So that can help me build that blog up. So maybe one day you just want to do a super short blog post where it's about, let's scroll down to another one here. Grab the good stuff. What are you feeling right now? When you focus on your emotions, you can't help but classify them as good emotions and bad emotions. In truth, emotions are neutral. And so this is a great lesson. Like I'm 1 sentence in, and I already really love this message. So I could grab just that one paragraph could be a blog post. Maybe I grab a cool graphic and then I ask a question at the end. What do you think about this? What are some of the emotions you've been experiencing this week? What kind of advice do you give to your friends and family when they experience the range of emotions they go through on a daily basis? Super easy blog post. If you want to get your blogging built up, that's a great way of doing it. Another one is report add-ons. I like these because when I read reports, ebooks, even Kindle books, somebody earlier mentioned a Kindle book. I like when they have like those little chapter summaries or quick tips at the beginning or an end of a chapter. So where's my ebook? So let's say I'm reading, this is the full ebook here, the 6,000 word book. Let's say I'm reading through about emotional mastery and I'm really digging it. And I get to this first section here on first emotion of anger, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I totally get this. Like this resonates with me, makes a lot of sense. At the end, I might want to do a chapter summary or some kind of quick thing for them to walk away with. So I insert like a little, hey, this is Justin's quick tip here to close off the chapter. And I might just want to grab that from the post here, right? I might want to grab it from the autoresponder. It's just like a little thing that this one doesn't match, but you get the idea. Hey, I can grab that and I can paste it into the little quick tip. And it just makes I would paste it in right here. It just makes my ebook read a little nicer, give something, a little bite-sized thing to think about before they move on to the next chapter. And it's also a great way of ensuring that the content you're producing here is unique. It started off as a PLR product where other people own the license. Now you're doing some work to it. You didn't have to write it. but it is unique to you. And that's a great step to take. So that's what I mean by report add-ons. And then you can also take each one of these and create little video and audio teasers, which are great for branding your business. So as an example, where like you could narrate this particular email here into what would probably be, if you read it kind of smoothly with a nice pace, not too fast, not too slow, it would probably be about a minute of content, maybe a little less. And then you could turn it into a video as well. We do that in some of our products. So here, if you go to the multimedia folder, we've actually taken the autoresponder, narrated each one into a small audio segment. We've narrated into, or we've put it into slides, and then we combine the audio with the slides to produce a video as well. And these videos, even though they're little bite-sized videos that are maybe a minute in length, let's see the length here.
Steps forward until you step back.
All right, so that one's 53 seconds long or 54 seconds long, but it makes a great piece of shareable content for YouTube, for your Facebook page. I would do both, actually. We have a YouTube channel for Tools Motivation, and we have a Facebook page. And I always upload the video to Facebook and YouTube so that it lives independently in both locations, caters to different audiences, and captures a totally different crowd in each format. So these little videos, even though the source content was just a couple of paragraphs, can become super powerful branding tools for your business. And if you're using a Tools for Motivation product that happens to have them already built for you, even better, right? If you want to change the videos, we give you all the source files here. So maybe you don't like the way, for example, here,
No steps forward.
if I forward ahead,
Especially if the
maybe you don't like the way this square box is up here. You'd rather have it round with a yellow background. You could do that because we're giving you the actual slide deck here where we built it. So you could open up the slide deck and make the changes as you see fit, re-record it or re-export it into your own unique video and head over to YouTube and publish it. And then obviously when you upload the YouTube video, in the description below the video, you link to your website or your opt-in form or some kind of lead generation page. So it becomes a really, really powerful form of content marketing again. All right, so that's the lead gen content. I spent longer on it than I wanted, but I definitely wanted to get those examples in there. And I'm just going to quickly mention this one. I'm going to move on, but the lead gen slides, all it is we've taken the main, so go to the folder number 2 here. We've taken the main report from the premium folder, and we've just extracted key points here into a relatively short slide deck. We didn't want, this is designed to just be a quick summary of the deep level learning in the book. So what I like to use this particular slide deck for is like something like a free report that you, or a lead gen report that you give away to pre-sell the book, or record over the slides like I'm doing right now to do a teaser video. So a video demo of your product. So if you have an emotional mastery course or ebook, audiobook, workbook for sale in a store, you could record yourself just reading over those slides and saying, here's what we cover in the course. Now head over to toolsmotivation.com and pick up your copy of Emotional Mastery to dive in and learn all these concepts today, right? I might even bundle the slide deck as part of the ebook, just to give the customer or the reader another way of learning that information. So I might do that through an exported PDF. Or if I'm doing a webinar like I'm doing today, maybe I could import those slides and it becomes one of the lessons in my webinar. So those are all examples of how to use that, but I don't want to spend too much time there because I do want to move on to, we're now here at the 3rd column. But before I do that, Trevor, I'm just going to pause, take a quick drink here and see if things are looking good.
Yep, everything's going great so far. If, like we said earlier, guys, if there's any questions, throw them into the chat and we'll do our best to answer them.
Okay, great. All right, so let me hide the controls here again. Now we're diving into the branding content. So here, if you look at Tools for Motivation, Emotional Mastery product, we've got the articles. Branding folder has articles, reports, slides, and checklists. And what it is 10 different articles, different things dealing with emotional mastery. So you can see the titles here, 8 techniques that stop anger, 6 proven steps to mastering emotions, common things that you would see for an article or a blog post. Then what we've done is we've also repurposed those articles into short reports where it's a combination of 5 different articles into a report format like this. So the end reader wouldn't know that you have merged these from articles into a report, but it's just giving you another piece of content to work with here and different ways of using it. Same thing with slide decks. So each article has been put into a PowerPoint that looks like this, where each slide is just kind of one of the paragraphs or key lessons from the article extracted into slide deck format. Again, different way, different format of content so you can share it in different platforms. And then there's a checklist here, which is a short report of the key lessons learned in the main ebook up there. Okay, so I'm going to walk through each of those here. Now, the most obvious way of using the articles would be for blogging content. So you could literally just take the article, copy it, and then paste it into your blog, and you'd be done. I mentioned earlier the importance of creating custom content. So maybe you split up the article. So if I open up that first one here, where is it? 4 techniques for handling negative emotions. If I wanted to turn this into a blog post, so let's do it. We go over here to our blogging tool. This is WordPress. Hopefully most of you use WordPress, but any blogging tool you use will look something like this. So I would actually create a new blog post. I could grab the title verbatim and might want to change it. Let's grab it like this for now. Paste it in. 4 techniques for handling. Let's just say 4 ways to deal with. Simpler language, and then it's unique. It's not exactly what the PLR stated. And then we grab the remainder of the document and we paste that into our WordPress editor. It looks like it's brought over some extra formatting here. So I would go through and kind of work on the formatting. But then I would also think to myself, is this exactly what I want to say? Maybe, but I'm going to read through this article. And when I get to certain sections, I might want to expand on it. So for example, here, 3 ways that you have used to move on to one technique you should be using. Okay, so we're talking about avoiding the emotion here, pretending the emotion is not there, becoming the emotion. You can see how these are different ways that we handle it. So I might want to, right here, maybe in bold, have a little placeholder for myself. Add story about the time where XYZ happened. And then here, so this is a blog post that's currently just in draft mode, right? Because I'm allowing myself time to think and create. Insert YouTube video about denying emotion. I can't type today, but you guys get the idea. Becoming emotion. So this would be another note to myself. Justin, insert an image from Unsplash. Right. So at the end of the day, I've got a blog post, but it's super unique. It goes a bit deeper. It gives my readers something that will help them relate to me, my personal stories, some of my own examples. But it won't take me all that long. Like producing a blog post like this, I'd way rather do it from PLR than just going like this and go, okay, I've got to write about emotions or 4 ways of dealing with negative emotion. Let me go. It's super hard to do, right? So that's why you'd want to use a piece of PLR like this. Now, having said that, it's not just for blogging. You could use it for email broadcasts. Quite honestly, one of the biggest jobs for me, my role in my company, is email marketing. We send emails out almost every single day, and I have a personal philosophy that I don't want them to be junk. I want the person reading the email to not have their time wasted. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's longer. Usually there's some kind of a plan there for me to sell something, because I do run a business. Sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's direct, asking people to take a look at an offer. And there's a giant mixture of things that I do in my email marketing on a daily basis. But it's certainly not easy, and it's very time consuming. I want my emails to reflect well on the company. And so having some inspiration, like a PLR article to help me come up with ideas or certain things that I want to say, or a quick lesson that I want to share that maybe I knew the lesson, but I just forgot it. And simply by reading this PLR article, it reminded me about this thing here, whatever. I picked a bad article because this isn't really something I would talk about too often. But you get the idea. It can maybe help you draw the inspiration to produce the end result of what you're trying to do. So maybe my email broadcast for the day is about handling negative emotion. And I really want to focus on learning lessons from your emotions in the past. So I'm going to grab this from the PLR so that I can add that into my email broadcast over here for people that want to read the full lesson about it, right? So my lesson to you. And then this would be the lesson right inside the email broadcast. And then I have a much more in-depth email broadcast ready to go. I talked about it being a starter for a blog post and the blog itself, so we can move on. Extracting key lessons. Okay, I kind of just touched on that. Let me open another article because I don't like this one. I like fear. That's a good topic. I often use PLR articles just for idea extraction. I talked about this earlier with ebooks being your outline for Kindle books or for self-published books. It can also just be general lesson extraction for things that you want to teach. So on another webinar, I talk about creating personal branding videos. Again, I'll keep coming back to the importance of you having lots and lots of content out there with your voice, your videos, your audios, things where people can actually hear you speaking. I'm doing a webinar right now. You're building a connection with me. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. For those of you that do like it, it's probably going to help me in the long run, keep you on our list and so on, right? So if I wanted to create a video on the fly today for my personal development coaching business, if I have that, then I might just want to talk about the 5 main points from this article. Dealing with fear, document it, enjoy it, ignore it, confront it, banish it. And I can talk about my own examples of how I've done each one of those. I use nothing else from the article other than the header of that section of the article to guide my thinking. And I could record the video just by speaking to it. I can take maybe one little point out of this. So document the fear. And I go over here to a slide presentation. So I was showing this one earlier. I'm going to make a video presentation where I'm going to teach about fear. And all I'm going to do is talk about the 5 things. And the slide is simply just going to have the key point on the slide while I speak. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is documenting the fear. The second thing I'm going to talk about is, what does the article say? Enjoying the fear. It's really about embracing it. So I'm going to paste that in to this guy. It did not preserve the sizing. There we go. And then within about 5 minutes of copying, pasting, not even 3 minutes, copying, pasting those headers from the article, maybe I'd probably add some unsplash images here. So, let's do it for fun here on the fly. These don't really represent fear per se, but let's do it. Actually, that egg looks scared there. Let's grab that. And we're going to put that image in here. It's not pasting in. Okay, I'm not going to do it. Imagine there's an image right here. Okay, this blue box is an image of those eggs. Isn't that amazing the way that happens? And then I just start presenting it. I turn on my slides and I record my voice over it. So the first thing you want to do when you experience a fear is document it. Write it down. Think about all the different ways this fear impacts your life, why it might be coming up, how it's impacted you in the past. Next, enjoy the fear. I'm really talking about embracing it. Understand that it's going to exist anyways and blah, 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 right? So I'm just speaking off the top of my head. I would probably think for 5 or 10 minutes what I want to say over these slides, but then I would just go into straight up record mode. And at the end of this, I would have extracted 5 lessons that I can now record into a personally branded video. If I don't want to do it on video, I can do it on audio. If I don't want to do either of those, where is my thing? Then maybe I'm just extracting the key lessons into like simple graphics that I share, or it could be just 5 bullet points that I'm putting out in my email message for today. Try these 5 things next time you want to deal with fear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there's no limit to how you use those ideas. That's kind of the same. These 2 points are basically what I just talked about. Another thing is image articles. I don't see people doing this enough, but it's similar to before where I was talking about using Unsplash. And all you're doing is taking the article and instead of just taking this and publishing it as is, you are mixing and matching the text with visually enhanced graphics. So that's where you'd come over to our Unsplash resource. I don't want to do it because it's not working well here, but let's see. If you use tfm.news/Unsplash, then you can come through our collection here. And somewhere in here, I know for sure, Ted has a collection of images about overcoming fear, facing fear. I'm not seeing it off the top. Anyway, perseverance is kind of close to fear. That guy looks scared. So, right. So you could grab this image, pop it into one part of the article, do the same thing here and there, add a little footer. And then before you know it, you've taken an article and you've changed it into really something you could publish as a report. It's the exact same information. It's just presented a little differently. You're calling it a report. You're saving it as a PDF. And now instead of it being a blog post, it's something they have to download, different perceived quality, different perceived value. And it allows you to mix up your content marketing. Another one is a contextual opt-in. So what you could do is, let's say you've spent the time beefing up this one article. You didn't add any more text to it. Maybe you have like an opening and a closing, but then all you've done was added some images just to make it look nice. It's a short 3-page report. And then what you could do is have a blog post about fear, which is right here, or 4 ways to deal with negative emotion. It teaches them about negative emotions in general. And then you can say at the end of this blog post, you could say, are negative emotions holding you back? Sign up below for my free report about dealing with the most common negative emotion, blah, 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 fear, okay? And then I would have a name, email. We would link this to our autoresponder. And then we just simply deliver this report with all those fancy upgrades we made to it as a contextual opt-in, right? So let's go to the blog post here. They're reading the blog, ways to deal with negative emotion. This is really good information. I'm really getting value from this. That video that Justin put right here about denying emotion, that was super, that really connected with where I'm in my life. This part's cool. Oh, he's got a report on dealing with fear. Yeah, I'm totally going to sign up for that. But the opt-in is in the context of this blog post. It's not your general opt-in like on your sidebar or that pops up when people visit your website, which might be like, hey, here's my 3 tips to whatever. It's a specific opt-in for people that are interested in this specific topic, and you're capturing people that want to learn more about this. It's another way of getting people on your list, but it's also a way of segmenting those people. If you start doing list segmentation, where you're sending specific offers to people with specific interests, that's where your email marketing can get really powerful. So for example, at Tools for Motivation, when you buy a product from us, when you buy Emotional Mastery, we tag you with this product name. And if you buy another product that's maybe about success mindset, we start knowing more and more about you based on the tags and the behavior. We can start creating email campaigns based on that behavior. You could have 3, 4, 5 more blog posts with specific talk tracks that cater to different people in your market with a different opt-in. Because this opt-in here about dealing with fear may draw zero interest from a certain type of person, but another one about dealing with anger would. So you could have blog posts that talk about the topic and then have an extending lead magnet that's within the context of that blog post. Super powerful way of doing your list building. And then these articles, obviously, you could turn them into audio, turn them into video. And what we do, again, with Tools for Motivation that is also an extension we do for you in certain products. So the Emotional Mastery product, as an example, has article audio, every single one of those articles narrated, article slides, where we've put them into slide decks that look like so, that allow us to teach in these videos that you see here. And they're all
6 techniques which create emotional mastery over shame.
So right, and as I poured through here,
getting past shame.
all of those slides are customizable. So if you don't like the way this video has been designed by us, the source audio and the source slides are there. But it also gives you a model to follow. If I wanted to record these articles in my own voice, this is a great way of doing it. Look at the way Tools for Motivation did it. They've got an MP3 that looks like this. They've taken the article and repurposed it into a slide like so, and they were able to produce a video that looks like this by combining the two together. And you could totally do that by modeling our work. If you don't want to use exactly what comes out of box, or maybe you don't own our products, you can use this example to just inspire your own work in your life. Okay. Trevor, where are we at here? I'm nowhere near as far as I thought I'd be, so I'm have to make a decision here soon if I want to go through the whole thing or not.
We're doing really well. There's been a few questions that I was able to answer in the chat there. So
Okay.
you're good to keep going.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is let's quickly go back to this slide. I've covered for you the articles on this third column, and we just went through a whole different series of examples of how you could use them. The mini reports themselves are collections of articles. So these reports are already kind of show an example of taking PLR content and repurposing it into this format. Same thing with the slide decks. It's the article content just done up in a different format. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to talk about one or two for each so we can get through this more quickly, because I do want to get to the social section. So here, if I skip down to the mini reports, a really good example of this is this guy here, an enhanced blog post, which I've already kind of showed you, but I just wanted to draw your attention to it once more. Sometimes PLR articles can be blended together, just like we did here with these reports, to build a longer blog post. So when I showed you my personal development blog from years ago, where I had this blog post called Breakthrough to a New You, it was basically one of these mini reports that I'm showing you right now. Sorry for the jumping around here. So like it's like a mini report from Emotional Mastery, where 5 of the articles have been repurposed into a single report. And now I've taken them and split it up into what I call a high value or enhanced blog post. So instead of it being one idea and one short blog post of, let's say, 400 or 500 words, that's, you know, designed to maybe provide a quick lesson to my list, it's an in-depth look at a particular topic. So this one is about getting out of comfort zones and kind of overcoming your limitations. So the blog post itself actually combines a number of different pieces of PLR content. In fact, one of the things here is a poster from later, like you'll see this in the next section, where I've inserted that first to catch the attention visually. Then I've taken the first section of the mini report and put it here, but I'm also enhancing that with some of the audio from the article. So instead of it just being a blog post with one direct piece of content, it's a collection of all of those pieces of content from my PLR package, which is essentially what I'm suggesting you do here with this enhanced blog post. The mini reports already combine the articles for you. You can just take it that much further in an enhanced blog post. Another one is document sharing. There's a website called scribd.com. I have it. Where do I have it? It's somewhere here. Here it is, scribd.com. And it's a document sharing website where you can upload PDFs and I think other forms of documents as well. And I kind of look at it as like the YouTube of documents. So you can create publicly publishable content. So this is a good example of, you couldn't take the Emotional Mastery ebook and share it here, but you could take articles or any kind of our freely available content in any of these branding folders here or the social folders and quickly share them. So you could take one of these like collective reports here, which is 5 articles in one, come into Scribd and upload it as a PDF. You can see here, this PDF I uploaded, I've done 0 traffic generation to it. It's got 3,000 views. And all this PDF was, if you scroll through it, is a collection of articles from the Tools for Motivation. Now I'm not signed in right now, but if you're signed in, you can read it. And it works really well for branding because I can actually show, it used to link, it doesn't anymore, but I can show the title of my website and people find this organically when they search around on Google and just gives me another place to brand my business. And when people are logged into Scribd, then they can actually see all the subsequent pages here. It kind of masks it because I'm not logged into Scribd by the time you get to page 4. But even here, look, like the PDF itself has a branded link to Tools for Motivation. So the PDF is uploaded to scribd.com, but it's serving as a marketing utility for my company. And all I did was I collected 5 PLR articles and uploaded them to Scribd with some of my branding in it. Like super, super quick way of getting lots of content spread out online, leading back to you. Now, again, in this case, it's Emotional Mastery. You want to make sure that the mini report reflects what you're selling in your business. You know, if you're a financial advisor, actually maybe Emotional Mastery would be a good lesson for you. Financial advisor would not be a good one, but you get what I'm saying. Like you'd have to make sure that the topic you're uploading matches your branding. But when it comes to personal development, it's going to pretty much be across the board you could use almost any Tools for Motivation product, grab the articles in the form of a 5-part mini report, upload it as a PDF, and it's going to highlight some kind of mindset-based advice that can link back to you and your transformation business or whatever kind of personal development business you're in. Okay, the rest of these I'm going to skip because we can cover those questions offline if we need to. These slides, I also just wanted to quickly point out as just another piece of content, right? All we're doing here is we've taken the articles from Emotional Mastery and we've put them into these PowerPoint decks for you that look like this. So you can quickly share them in other formats. So a great example would be slide sharing on LinkedIn. There used to be a website called slideshare.net. They were acquired by LinkedIn. I believe that was the sequence of events. And now you can use LinkedIn to create branded slides. So you would open up the PDF or the PowerPoint here, and then you'd probably want to add something like, hey, Tools for Motivation, or brought to you by toolsformotivation.com at the bottom or at the top. Maybe you spice them up a little bit to add some of your branding or logos or graphics, right? So that this PowerPoint looks exactly like you'd want it to look. And then you upload each one of those PowerPoints as a shareable slide to SlideShare. You could also, I think, do it on Scribed as well. I believe they allow you to upload PowerPoint documents because it is just a document sharing website. So that's pretty cool too, right? It just gives you the ability to do that. You could take these slides, put them into Google Slides, and then embed those slides into a blog post. If you want to make your own little slide sharing platform, the slides themselves could also become part of your webinar and so on. Okay, we've talked about a lot of those examples. There's also this checklist. So the checklist here is in the branding folder. It just serves as like a little free report. If I pop it open for you in PDF, it just shows like super, super quick lessons learned from that main 6,000 word ebook without really giving away too much, but it would just kind of give you some talking points for people that may want to look at purchasing. And it's also something that's really easy to share quickly. So you would just pop open that Word document, add your branding, maybe put Tools Motivation with a link here at the bottom, maybe put a photo of yourself or your business partners or your company, whatever, your office. And then now you've got a nice little branded report that can be used in a variety of ways. And that brings us to this final column, which is social, which is really one of the biggest parts of our product. But I'm going to try to go through it a bit more quickly than I have been because we're already 2 hours into this webinar. If you're still on, I super appreciate you because again, this is the first time I've ever done something this immersive and diving this deep, but I wanted to cover it all. So I'm just going to take a quick drink here because definitely getting a sore throat. We're good, Trevor?
We are good, but we got a couple people asking if we're going to put a special offer together with the Mastering Emotions package today.
That product, no, but I can tell you a way that you can get it for free. So we'll get to that. So social content has posters here, and it actually has, let me go through all of it, and then let me go through the zip file, and then we'll go through the actual usage scenarios. So in the social folder in Emotional Mastery, we have a poster folder which has 20 different tips posters. There are 5 folders in total, and each folder has 4 different tips with a different design here. So you can see them. Don't run from fear, try to understand it. What's the real emotion behind your anger? And then we've got, so one design there. I'll just show you another one quickly here. So this one's more of a yellow and black. And all of these come in PSD format, by the way. So if you have Photoshop, you can edit them. There's other tools out there, freeware tools that you can edit with as well. But you can also bring these into Canva, which I'm going to show you. So there's posters. There's an infographic, which is more of a large graphic like this with a bunch of images collected together in our case. Infographics are really good on Pinterest. There's pre-written tweets, which are just short pieces of text. Pre-written Facebook posts, which are a bit longer. And then you guys already know Instagram and Pinterest. We've already done up some pre-sized images for those platforms. And it just has the same 20 tips that you see here in the posters folder. But it's a large amount of content here. Like there's a lot of work that goes into it here. If you look, like each one of these Instagram images has been, we've curated images from Unsplash. We've written the quote and the tip on it. And we've made it super easy for you to share on your relevant social profile there. So in terms of the posters themselves, you could just straight up publish them to your profile. These go really well on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. but you can modify them in Canva. You can add them to reports, right? Earlier I was talking about, enhancing the graphics when you're working with an article here. So maybe I just want to grab one of these posters here. What's this one on? Fear. I think the first one was fear, or was it anger? I don't know. I think it was fear. Let's grab it. I can drop it right into the document. And this is fear, so it lines up nicely. And then I've just kind of added a nice little flair to my article here, and I didn't have to even go to Unsplash. I got it right out of the Tools for Motivation kit. So that's another way of using those. Let's see here. Adding variety to your blog. I showed you that already, where I inserted the image of the poster at the top of my blog post, and then the text content went below it. And then you can also, if you're creating Canva images from scratch, you can just grab the text. So all of our posters have just plain text tips here. So, trying to use humor to deflate your fears. These are just the different tips. So you can grab those and use them in Canva. So Canva, if you've never used it before, let me show you that because I keep talking about it. Canva.com is a site. It's free. You can upgrade to a premium version as well, depending on what you want to do, but it allows you to create all different kinds of shareable images and different types of graphic-based, image-based content for your business, specifically for your public marketing. So for example, here, if I want to create an Instagram post, I can use their templates to do so. And they've got all kinds of different free ones that make it quite quick. So here, like this one here, working from home, boom, I can just pop that in and I can save this. And I've got a graphic that's perfectly sized for Instagram. I don't have to worry about, it looking all weird on someone's different mobile device. It's going to look exactly right. So with Canva, it can actually be a tool that you use to modify PLR. So if you want to, let's pick one here. Let's design a poster. And with Canva, you start with like a blank canvas here. You can use their templates, but they also have this cool feature where you can upload your own media. So I could go to my Emotional Mastery product here and go into the social folder. And I really like that. Where's that? Yeah, I like that fear one. I'm going to bring that in and actually use that PLR product as the canvas for my Canva design. It's just taking a moment here. There, it's ready. And now it's part of my suite. I can drag and drop it right in here and resize it as needed. Now our posters don't match up with their poster sizing, but that's okay. We can work with that. Probably extend it a little bit here to make it fit. There we go. But what I like about this is if you don't have Photoshop or any other kind of visual editing tool or graphic editing tool, then you can just bring our PLR graphics into Canva and then add your own branding here. So let me drag this guy here. That's obviously way too big. So we're going to drop this down to like 72. Get rid of, that's still too big. Get rid of that. And then let's go, oh, that's way too small, somewhere in the middle. And then I could just edit that, right? Tools for motivation.com. Make that text a little bit smaller. Almost there. Now I've branded this poster to my company. This doesn't look great, but you get the idea. I'd probably spend a bit more time on a webinar here. I'm showing you on the fly. But then all I have to do is download this as a PDF, as a JPEG, as a GIF or GIF, depending on which world of the internet you're from. And I've got a branded piece of content here ready to share. So I really like that example because it just shows you an easy tool for editing graphics if you don't already have the skills to edit that in Photoshop, for example. Now, if you do have Photoshop, which I'm not going to bring up right now, you could open this graphic and we include the layers. So if you want to use the text that's on the screen here, you could actually change this. Maybe you want to change the font so you don't like the way it's been designed. We give you everything editable if you have the correct editing tool for a PSD file. So that's the beauty of PLR, fully customizable. And these posters will fit right into that. Infographics, the same kind of idea. So if I show you the infographic here, right, this guy here, this is a smaller version. It's actually quite large when you open it. This is just 20 tips to take control of the emotions that are holding you back or holding you hostage. And it just gives a single it's kind of teaching, but it's a single graphic that allows you to share a big idea in a single image. So it's a cool form of communication. I'm sure you've seen infographics being shared online. They were really hot 5-6 years ago, maybe less so now, but they're still useful, and they're great for sharing on Pinterest. They do really well on Pinterest, but because they're PLR, again, you can fully customize them. What we do here, I didn't mention that, is at the very bottom, we have this white space for you where it says brought to you by. And then that's where you can do the edits, where you put in your name or your branding, your URL, your logo. It's up to you, right? It's fully customize it how you see fit. But what I've seen is I've sometimes added this to reports just to give a visual appeal, right? If you're talking about different tips for handling emotions, the report itself is text in nature, but maybe you break up the text with this infographic right in the middle so that people can kind of visually see what you're walking them through. Or you want to have a visual element to your email broadcast. I find we do really well in our email marketing when we insert graphics and images into some of our messages. So I could have a bit of text in my email message to my list today, but then also have a graphic here. And that could be, I'm teaching about emotions. So it's like, hey, did you know that emotional mastery is something a lot of people struggle with? Are emotions holding you back? Let's talk about that today. And then, here's a little infographic showing you 20 tips that'll help you take control of some of the emotions. And I would insert that infographic right here, and then I might want to continue on talking about it, or maybe I just link out to some kind of resource or blog post or whatever, some kind of info that I'm selling. But it's good to have this graphic because you can spice up some of your different content marketing pieces doing that. Then we have the social content of tweets and Facebook posts. Now these are more text in nature. So the first two are graphical in terms of infographic and posters. Tweets look like this. Let me just get this open. So 30 different pre-written tweets, literally just ready for you to, let me make this bigger here, ready for you to copy and paste into Twitter. And then same thing with Facebook posts. I'm going to open them both at the same time and make it bigger so you guys can see. And these are just Facebook posts ready to copy and paste into Facebook. So copy and paste to Twitter, copy and paste to Facebook. That's kind of the out-of-box usage scenario of them. Another thing you can do is put them into an importer. So you could take each one of these tips, or tweets, and paste them into a CSV file, like a spreadsheet, and then import that into a tool like Hootsuite so that you can bulk schedule your next 30 tweets to go out once a day for the next 30 days. You can do the same thing with Facebook posts. That's one way of looking at kind of doing your social marketing in bulk. I don't really do that very often. I like to do my stuff a little bit more manual and hands-on, but I just like to mention it because for people that do huge amounts of marketing, like special, like branded marketing like that, and they really want to bulk and batch things, that is something you can do. And it's something that you might want to try. It's also a good broadcast opener. So when I'm struggling to write my emails to my list, I might want to go in here and just grab a tweet because it's a good little, kind of quick to the point piece of advice or suggestion or question. And that might help me get going with my email marketing. I sometimes combine them into a blog. Sometimes use them as report enhancers. So I talked about earlier where I take the report and I add a little quick tip to the end of each chapter. These come in really handy for that. And then I also like to use them for Canva. Like Canva is a huge tool that will probably come in handy in your business. So you might want to come in here and just create your own Facebook posts using the Canva graphics that are built in, right? So, I'm gonna do a Facebook post that uses this style. You can and will win, but I'm gonna use a tweet. Oops, where'd it go? I have way too many documents open now. I will eventually find the tweet. And then I might want to grab the text from my pre-written tweet in the PLR package to help me with some of the text on this poster. Now, it's probably going to be more than I need, maybe not, but I can very quickly now create this custom Facebook post with its own text on it. And then what I would do is I would save this as an image. I would upload it to Facebook as the post image, because when people are scrolling, they're way more likely to stop and you're way more likely to get their attention when there's an image attached to the post. But then the post itself can have descriptive text as well. I'm sure you've seen this on Facebook. So the image would have the text, and then I could also paste that text. In this case, it's a tweet, but it doesn't matter, into the text component of that Facebook post or whatever social platform I'm using. So I've covered both. I've got the graphic built and I've got the text description of that Facebook post or that social post ready to go. It's also a great way of doing live videos. So I've seen people that just like to live stream every single day and they're not really sure what they want their content to be. So you could go to some of the pre-written tweets here and just read them, right? You could come over here and just read I've got, again, way too many of these open. But hey, you're struggling with your emotions, just breathe. Emotional overload can be stopped in its tracks by pausing the second you feel yourself starting to feed into the negativity. Take a deep breath while counting to 4, hold it for another 4, let it out slow, repeat. I could literally just read this, stare into the camera, maybe have them go through it a couple more times. Now I've got a piece of live stream video content branding me that took me literally 5 seconds to create. It came right out of the PLR. I love using this kind of stuff as inspiration for my own content. The same thing goes for Twitter, by the way. I'm just using Facebook live streaming as an example because I'm not really much of a Twitter guy, but people upload videos, images, and text to Twitter all the time, and it would work just as well there. And file description. I'm trying to remember what this means. I think where I was going with this is when you're uploading a file to what's the word I'm looking for? Scribed, or if you're doing YouTube videos or any kind of upload, you need a description for your piece of content. And I like to keyword load my descriptions because it gives you a better chance at being found by the search engines. So I have quite a few YouTube videos that haven't necessarily gone viral, but they have, like 10,000+ views, and I've done no marketing of it. But almost always it's the video with a great description. It's loaded with text. It's got a lot of specific keywords in the text related to the topic. So if I'm uploading a video or some kind of content to a social platform, and I need more descriptive information to just have more keywords loaded with that piece of content, these tweets and Facebook posts are a great source for you to use that content. So I just wanted to mention that one as well. And then the Instagram and Pinterest graphics, again, way too much to go through here. So I'm just going to quickly mention you can publish them as is. You can use them as blog headers. We've talked about using them in email broadcasts. I showed you how to bring it in to Canva and add your branding. This is the one I'm going to show you really quickly. There's a website called unminus.com, which is royalty-free audio. So earlier I talked about Unsplash, which is royalty-free graphics. Unminus allows you to download MP3s that are royalty-free that you can use in your video production or in your audio, like podcast production. So imagine you create a slide deck like this, and we just want to have some music playing and some graphics going across the screen. So slide number 1 looks like this guy, and then slide number 2 is another tip here. There we go. And then what I do is when you build it, like let's say it goes for the length of 20, right? So we add, let's do it for fun. We're gonna add an animation, even though I'm running out of time, I still wanna do this. We add an animation so it comes in really nice. We add an animation to this graphic so it kind of blends into the screen. So let's do it. And we play this back and we record it. Don't run from fear. I would have it pause longer. And we go to the next slide where it says another tip. Recognize when you are afraid and accept it. That holds on the screen for a couple of seconds. Then we scroll to the next one. Then we have this interesting information or audio playing from Unminus. And at the end of it, we've got this cool little inspirational video that we can quickly upload to Facebook or YouTube as a great little shareable piece of content. I love that example, and it's just such a cool way of using these graphics. So I like mentioning that one as well. These graphics also come in handy just for general slideshows to enhance your reports. And there's a lot, we haven't really talked much about journals, but journaling is a big type of content marketing that people are doing. People are selling journals, printable journals, low content publishing. That's a big deal these days. And you can use these graphics to enhance the look and feel, the visual appeal of your journals, your reports, your workbooks, and so on. So I highly recommend you try it for that. So, okay, we've got to the end of all of these guys here. I'm going to bring this back up on screen while I pause and let Trevor come back on the mic.
All right, thanks so much, Justin. There has been some questions that have come in that I've done my best to answer as they were going. If there are any additional questions, maybe you think of something after the presentation, I'm going to drop my email address into the chat box right now. Send them over to us. I have no problem with answering those for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the help desk, I mean, there's all kinds of different options, but that's great. Thanks, Trev. Now, you might have noticed that as I've gone through this, along the bottom of the slide, I have 4 big words here, kind of key phrases: strategic bonuses, sales funnels, course material, and premium freebies. These to me are the most effective, high impact ways of using PLR. And there was absolutely no way that I could dive into all of these topics on this webinar. So what I wanted to do was mention them to you, and then also let you know that on the replay page of this, we are going to have links for you to go out and learn about all of these models in more depth, because they just require way more time. So I'm just going to actually just bring it up for you here. Where did I go here? I just want to make sure the slides stay up to date here. They're actually, they do have some short links already. So strategic bonuses at a high level talks about how to use PLR content to make your offers way more compelling. Now, it may be offers that you personally are selling through your business, or it might be another company that you're promoting as an affiliate, and you want to make it really, really like super high incentive for your customers to buy through your referral. The best way to do this is give those prospective buyers a massive bonus, something that they would have to pay lots of money for or jump through a bunch of hoops to get otherwise. And usually it requires a bunch of effort to build bonuses, but if you get creative, PLR can become a huge source of strategic bonus for you. So I want everybody to be aware of that. And there's an in-depth presentation that I've done on that. Second is sales funnels. Earlier, I showed you one of our pages where we had an offer, and it actually happened to be a free offer where we showed you what you're going to get. And when you add it to cart, it takes you to a subsequent page where we offer you an upsell. Thanks for your interest in our free offer. Is this of any interest to you? And people either say yes or no, and then they check out. Sales funnels are a way of engaging with prospective buyers and getting them to buy your higher ticket packages. I'm sure you've heard of the word sales funnels by now. In this particular example, I walk through one of our sales funnels. This happens to be a free sales funnel where the front end offer is a $0 offer, but there's so many different types of sales funnels that you can try. But this is a case study that you might want to kind of walk through, see what results we got, and go ahead and borrow as many of them as you feel like you can. But PLR will help you implement that method at a very deep level. And then there's also course materials. I'm sure that at least some of you watching this, whether it's live or on the recorded session, want to build courses or already do sell courses, and you want to increase your portfolio or increase your enrollment in those. And we have a really great presentation on how to basically do it yourself, DIY, create courses using PLR content. And in this presentation, I actually merge a bunch of different PLR packages together to produce a brand new course for my prospective students. And we show you step by step how you can do it as well. It's a really good presentation. And then the premium freebies, I kind of talked about that already. It's all about nurturing your list. Take PLR products, create really good, high value pieces of content that you can give away to your existing subscribers every week as a thank you, saying, thanks so much for following us, for listening to us, for buying our products. Here's some free material, a free download, a free whatever, to show our appreciation. And do this on an ongoing basis because it can't hurt, right? It just shows that you kind of come from a place of abundance that you're also innovating, improving, coming up with new methods, ideas, and strategies for people to listen to you. And it gives your audience a huge leg up over maybe following other people who don't do that. Now, I don't have an existing training on that, but I do have this slide that I'm going to include. It just kind of walks through how we do it. And yeah, so that kind of is about it. Now, all of that comes to the offer that we want to present to you today. We've covered a lot, and it's up to you how far you want to take this. I dove as deep as I've ever gone with PLR in a single presentation. I've given you a bunch of resources that you can go further, but the purpose of this presentation, quite truthfully, was to let you know that our annual membership that's currently available for half price is going away forever on October 19th. And you can read about it at tfmnews.com or tfm.news/495, which is our annual membership. And we're never offering it again at this rate. Now, what you need to know about this is that our annual membership gives you exclusive access to every Tools for Motivation product that we release as we release it. So a lot of people were asking earlier about the Emotional Mastery product, and will we have that on a special offer? And the answer is yes. But it's already been available to our members for about a month now in the members area. So every month, if I go to our store here, every single month, we release 2 products that look kind of like that Emotional Mastery product. Now, I should have a quick distinction here. They don't always have the video components. That's once a month. But every month, you're getting a product that looks kind of like this that I've showed you right here. The 4 folders: Premium, Lead Gen, Branding, and Social. That's coming out every second Friday. In addition to every Wednesday, we have these tips reports, which you can read about here. Look at self-help tips reports. And every opposite Friday is our content bundles. Now, I'm not really going to do this any justice right now because I'm kind of quickly trying to close off the webinar. But my point is that every single month at Tools for Motivation, we release 8 new PLR products. 2 of them look exactly like Emotional Mastery, minus the video add-ons, which you will get once a month, and gives you an entire suite of content covering different self-help topics. Each product, full product that I showed you, like Emotional Mastery, for example, sells for $177 because it has the video components. The other ones sell for $127 as individual licenses. When you join our membership, you're getting them every 2 weeks for a total of 26 over the course of a year. And with their half price membership, you're going to be able to access all of those for 12 months for $495. So again, we're not offering this again after October 19th. Quite truthfully, it's just, it's too low of a price for the amount of time, effort, and especially cost that goes into all of these. I had Ted put together a spreadsheet here that estimated our cost of outsourcing as well as the estimated time to create all of the different assets that you see in just one of our PLR products, kind of like the one you saw today, Emotional Mastery. And these are not inflated, like, you know, those sales pages where it's like, my lead generation millions method course normally sells for $997, and this is $49.97. Like, this is probably what you're going to pay to have an ebook written that's 6,000 words in length. On the low end, you're probably going to pay at least $500, if not more, for a good quality writer to write and then have somebody else edit into final format a quality ebook of 6,000 words in length. Same thing with the audiobook. If you get someone to narrate that with professional quality studio equipment and high quality audio with no mess ups and just done very nicely and professionally, it's going to cost you $500 at least. And it kind of goes on and on here. I don't want to break it all down because we did that with this presentation, but you're looking at, when you have the enhanced media here, you're looking at about $6,000 plus for just one of these packages in terms of the cost to outsource, or on the very low conservative end, about 300 hours, 338 in this particular example, of time to produce a product that looks like this guy here with the 4 main folders. Okay, I'm not, again, multimedia may or may not be available in the product that you're looking at, but to me, this is almost the more important number here. How much can you accomplish in your business in 338 hours if you don't if you're doing other stuff, if your content is already built for you. And obviously you're not reducing this to zero, because I just finished telling you in this presentation that you've got to work with the content and spend time. But maybe instead of 338 hours, maybe it's 5 hours or 7 hours for a particular project or product on a particular topic. And again, this is just one example of one product that you get every second Friday at Tools for Motivation. So that would be the time savings and the cost savings for one of those products. So again, for the half price option here, it goes away on October 19th and just won't be sold at that again. It'll still be worth it when the price doubles, and I'm sure we'll have people buying it. But I really want you to get in if you feel like you can get value from this, because the cool part is you get to lock in at this rate. So next year, if the membership is doubled to $2,000 a year, you still renew at $495 a year. And we've been in business for 10 plus years selling PLR. At Tools for Motivation, it kind of became its own brand around 2014. And every single year we've innovated and grown our monthly offerings in significant ways. So for example, last year we didn't have this entire module of video content coming out once a month. All of this takes a ton of time and cost and work to produce. We added this feature for 2020 so that every month, one of our full products actually includes this entire suite of content. In 2021, again, same thing applies. We're going to continue to innovate and grow our offerings to improve upon what we already do, while continuing to still include the existing things that we've already built into our processes. So when you get a chance to lock in at $495, even if you're only going to use 10% of the content that comes out, it's still going to be worth far more than that to you if you're able to implement it into your business to create things like lead magnets, to create courses, to create reports that you sell and then reduce down in price to get subscribers onto your list, to give a weekly freebie out to people who are following you and staying on your subscriber list so you can sell other offers to them, to give people bonuses when you're promoting another affiliate's product and you get a chance to make $500 commission every time you do a sale. Well, having a bonus on that is going to give you a higher conversion. PLR products can give you a leg up by giving you really high value bonuses to add into those promotions. The list goes on and on. I've covered lots of them today. We can go into more of them on a follow-up session. So that's kind of the key thing here. I have a list of resources here that I just wanted to pull up on the screen. So tfm.news/annual 495 is the offer that closes October 19th. /unsplash is the royalty-free graphics / strategic bonus is that bonus model I was talking about. PLR funnel, sales funnels in action. This is actually a real life case study where I show you our numbers and our revenue that we generated on a $0 offer. Super interesting. I highly recommend you try that. Do-it-yourself courses. And then PLR Immersion, I believe, is the slides from today. So, or I think it's this, no, it's this graphic, which I'll be enhancing. So lots and lots of resources there for you to follow up, which again, even if you're advanced, what I covered today is likely going to require a second pass through. I'm more than happy to do a follow-up session. But Trevor, let's open up the floor here to questions. I'm more than happy to go through any Q&A that we haven't addressed.
Sure, definitely. One of them that just came up when you're talking about the membership is, as it's from Diane, as a member, do we have access to the products that are already in the library?
So great question. You have, when you join, so let's take the example of joining today. So at the time of this recording, it is October 14th. So when you join, you are purchasing an annual membership, which unlocks the membership for a year. So that's 12 months moving forward. Now, because you're getting a membership today, we don't want you to log in and see nothing. So what we do is we include the 12 most recent downloads that have been published to the members area, so you can download those immediately when you join today. When you look at the back catalog, which is hundreds of products, because if you look at our store here, what is the number? There's 611 products we've released since the beginning of time, or the beginning of our business. You can purchase those at a 70% discount. Now, I think I'm logged in here. If I go to the shop, look what happens here when you're a member. All these products, now you wouldn't need these because these are new, but if you go back to like last year here, or last month, These are not going to be available in your members area. And let's say you really like this product about upheaval. It's $177. You get 70% off of that as a member. But no, you don't get access to our entire back catalog. This is about, you know, if I add it all up, we're looking at it probably about $35,000 to $50,000 retail for all of those. But we do have options for you to buy the back catalog, which we can get into another day. But it's also protecting all of our members who have been paying, let's say, for example, $97 a month for 5 years. They get access to all those materials because they've been paying for them on a monthly basis. But by all means, you can grab those older items at a discount, or we can arrange what's called a portfolio license, where you can get all, it looks like 613 downloads. That's under a different offer. So we can get into that another time.
Great. And so say we join today at $495. Next year on the renewal date, we're paying $495 again.
Correct. Yeah, every year you renew at the same rate as you were before, regardless of, now the rate is going to increase. Our membership rates always increase. Well, they often increase, but that allows you to grandfather in. The thing is, if you cancel, then you cancel your payment profile. So if you want to renew at $495, you've then lost it. So you have a year to decide if you want to stick around for the subsequent year. Cool. And how are we doing? I'm actually going to go into the chat here as well. Let's see here. Trevor, I don't hear you on the mic, but let's see.
I'm here. Yeah. With in regards to the chat, a lot of the stuff that came in was pretty easily answered, and or I brought it up with you there. But as Justin said before, as I said before, I've put my email address into the chat. We have our help desk. There's plenty of ways to get the answers that you need.
Okay. Yeah. Just looking through the chat here. Oh yeah, is that a grandfathered rate? Yes. Okay. Now, were there any questions that, with regards to the content? Like, I didn't even, honestly, I haven't really done the offer justice, because this page, tfm.news/495, is where I really explain it. I can't even possibly explain what we do in the membership right now with a thorough explanation. So if you're interested, if what I've talked about today interests you, and you think you can get benefit from a PLR, then I highly recommend you read through that page. I've got several video demos there, including a kind of an interesting presentation called how to get a 2-week ROI on your investment. So how do you get this $495 back in 2 weeks so the rest of the year is paid for? Definitely starting to lose my voice here. All right. When will we be seeing more business strategy topics from Pat? So that's a great topic, and I should probably clarify this. So Tools for Motivation is personal development and self-help related content. We don't really cover topics that are business specific. So you're not going to see a product from us like how to scale your business with automation. We have partners that we refer people to for very specific business type of topics like that. But we have a lot of business coaches, and we have a lot of business experts who use our content because mindset, personal development, self-help usually plays a role in a lot of business related education. So what that kind of touches on is another question we get all the time, which is, what are your upcoming topics? And I can't remember if this page actually has the correct list, but I will make sure that tfm.news/495 has at least some of the upcoming topics. We don't build too many of them in advance. We're usually like 3 to 6 months in advance. So if you have requests, we're always open to that, as long as it falls into the niche of self-help personal development, and we feel like it's a topic that our general list can benefit from. If it's super, super niche and specific, we're probably not going to build it out because it's going to cost us thousands of dollars, and we probably aren't going to recover that cost when we launch it. No one's going to buy it. It's going to be too specific, right? So it has to be something we know will sell to our existing list of customers. Now, with joining today, will the Emotional Mastery be available at 70% off? Actually, it might even be available for free. Let's take a look at the members area. And when you go in, yep, it is. So when you log in today, this is what members see. And it's actually more, you get even more than I told you. Instead of, you don't just get the 2 previous full products, you get 4. But you're getting emotional mastery, both the main product and that video upgrade if you join by the 19th. And if for whatever reason it's not there, no, it's going to be there. Yeah, it'll definitely be there. So yep, you're getting that one. You don't even have to pay the 70% off. It's just there. You're going to go ahead and download that. You're going to download, which was this Alone Time, The Power of Solitude. That's a $127 product. You don't download that with the cost of your membership. Exploring Your Passions. This one is When It Matters, Finding Your Resolve When Things Can't Go Worse. These are blogging bundles at $47 a pop. I didn't even get into those. Weekly tip sheets. There's another feature that I think is going to go away next year. When you join, you also get 6 bonus products of your choice from the back catalog. So for those of you that say, oh, like I see something that you guys released last month or 4 months ago, that's not in the membership. Do I get that for 70% off? Well, if it's one of your 6 bonus selections, then you can have it for free, because part of your membership includes 6 products of your choice as a bonus, as a signing bonus, if you get in now on this half price membership. All right, I want to read this one because it starts off really awesome and it helps me feel good about myself. Gail saying, this was incredible, with an exclamation point. Some time back, you had a training on organizing your PLR for quickly finding for future use. Could you please put that link in here? It was so helpful and clarifies. Yeah, okay, so easy way to find it. If you want to learn how to organize your PLR, do this right now. Go to training on toolsmotivation.com. Once you click training, there's free, premium, and prod create. Click free training. And then the second, or on this first page, somewhere on here, it is, did I just miss it? Maybe it's on the second page. It's somewhere.
I think it's on the second page, but I did also post that link to the group. I have it right here.
Yeah, it's right here. And this is yeah, that's a little video extraction from a previous webinar. And I want to mention that because that previous webinar, this video that's part of this How to Organize Your PLR, was part of a member webinar we did, like a 2019, I think it was a 2019 kickoff webinar. That's something I didn't even talk about, is we do private sessions like this for the members from time to time as well. So, and we'll do them more often as requests come in. So if you become a member and you want to have more sessions like this and you keep asking, I'm likely to hit up Trevor on one of our meetings and say, we need to do another webinar because the members are asking. Usually we make decisions based on what our customers are asking for. And I want you to come back next year and renew at $495, right? We want to make sure you're super happy. We want to make sure that you get, $10,000 return minimum on this investment, right? So if we can run a webinar that helps you do that, we'll do it. If you have good questions and I think I can answer them and help you, we're going to do that. So I love this example because it's literally just like a 10-minute extract from that webinar. That's awesome. Sean is saying, thanks so much. I'm in. Excellent. I can't wait to see you guys in there. We've got some links from Trevor here. Fewer questions than I thought. That's maybe I've just burned everybody out. And I totally have to have a hard stop because the kids are going to be home and make all kind of noise when they get off from school in like a few minutes. So Thomas is saying he's in too. That's great. So excited to see you guys in there. Take your time with it. This webinar is still 5 days away. So, and Prajia is saying she's in too, or he, I'm not sure. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Yeah, Trevor already left his direct email address. So let us know if you have any questions. I really super appreciate how many people stayed on that did so today. Like I definitely push the limits of what you should be doing on a webinar. Leanna's asking about, can we split the payments? Send in a question to the help desk. It's not something that's built into our shopping cart, but if that's going to be the difference between you joining and not, then we can see if we can make that work. And James is saying, to your member, great investment. Awesome. Thanks so much, James. Really appreciate you coming in and sharing that. I'm so glad to hear it as well. I'm glad it's a good investment for you. Obviously, if you're sticking around, you're getting a return, you're getting benefit from it. Hopefully we can continue delivering that. I'm thinking, Trev, what do you think? I'm thinking more of these webinars is probably the way to go. Just get products open, go through them, brainstorm. What I really liked about today is I had almost nothing planned other than that giant slide, and then just kind of the creative flow that allows us, which really kind of showcases how content marketing really works, right? How do you feel on a certain day? How does this topic make you you know, what kind of ideas does this topic make you pull out of your head? Like, run with that, turn that into a piece of content. Jacqueline saying, great investment, current member for about the last 4 months, huge benefit for my business. That's amazing. Thanks so much, Jacqueline. The time was more than worth it, says Gail. Thank you. Way longer than I planned to sit here, but it was worth it. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. If I can keep you sitting there that long, that's probably good. I definitely did not use any Dan Kennedy hypnotic marketing techniques. I just tried to share stuff that I know works. I need an invoice for my German company with full address. Is that possible? Yeah, definitely. Just send that into the help desk. We'll make sure we can get that for you. We've got all the accounting and stuff set up. Wade is saying, thank you so much for your time. I feel as though you've created a great peer group, something that is greatly needed right now. I look forward to connecting with others. Trevor, let's run with that a bit more too. I've always shied away from creating a Facebook group for Tools for Motivation, not because I don't want to, but because they can grow stagnant, they can be hard to manage, and they can sometimes take away from the focus of what we're trying to do. If you look at our content model, we produce a lot of content. I don't believe, and don't quote me on this, but I really don't believe there's another company out there that produces the volume of content that we do. Also with the same quality standards, we have a lot of editing and Q&A that goes into our products. So we're really focused on our production. So if there's something that I feel like might take away from us doing a really, really good job of product quality first, then I don't do it. So the peer group thing is a great thing. If we can make that happen in some way that doesn't take away from it, let's do it. So Trevor, maybe write that down. You being our trusty sales manager that always brings his A+ game. I know we can count on you to maybe think of something there.
Absolutely. I already wrote it down as soon as I saw it. It's
amazing.
It's a great idea.
Great suggestion, Wade. I definitely want to do that in some way. So we'll keep that kind of open. That's also how things are going to go here, right? If you become a member, we're going to keep these kind of dialogues going. Maybe it's just, you know, a Thursday. I like Thursday for webinars. Maybe it's just like a weekly Thursday check-in where we do something like this and we just do a Q&A. I don't know. Like, it might be something super simple like that. Greg saying so much valuable information, not only today, but through the membership. Thanks, Greg. And thank you. I know you're always popping onto the webinars and being a super helpful resource for us too. So we definitely appreciate that. Antoinette is saying, thank you. I've been a member for over a year. Desi Ann saying that was super helpful. Thomas saying great quality. Carrie Ann, great, always great quality and help here. Thanks so much. Mark, I buy a lot of personal development PLR. You guys are easily the leaders in this field. Oh, thanks so much for saying that, Mark. Hopefully we can continue to live up to that. Definitely that's our main goal. Obviously we want to make our services is super important as well. That's why we hire the best of the best. Nigel and Melody and Trevor and myself are constantly monitoring that help desk. Again, I'm blown away by the amount of effort and care that people like Nigel and Melody put into really taking great care of people at the help desk. So you're in good hands when you're a customer with us, and let us know if you don't think so, because I want to improve that. It's always going to be an area that we look to improve. So yeah, I think there's Q&A stuff going on here. Oh, Linda's saying just got on in this awesome deal. Thank you so much, Linda. Looking forward to seeing you in there and meeting you. And all right, the chat has slowed down. The Q&A looks like it's been handled. Thank you, Trevor. And we've officially hit the longest webinar I've ever done. So we're going to end this for now and just remind you that tfm.news/495 is where you go to sign up for this. The recording will be sent out via email, and they'll be on a page with full player controls and none of that annoying stuff if you want to watch back a webinar. I'll even include a download so you can have a local copy, because I want you to learn from this. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you very much for watching.